Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, this again will be one of the most jam-packed transmissions we've ever engaged in, and one of the most important. They are openly announcing at the federal and state level, and we're going to go through some of the audio clips, they want to physically ban guns and make you turn them in. We told you that was coming months ago. That's always been their goal. But they're like, hey, you got a Second Amendment. You got a right to turn them into us. And, hey, Obama can use existing statutory interpretations with his executive order. So you're wrong to freak out. That's what they're saying on CNN and MSNBC, that he's going to use executive orders to curtail your Second Amendment. And they're saying, we're just going to tell the gun manufacturers they can't manufacture these. That's our power under executive orders. And we're just going to tell gun shops what they can and can't do outside of law. We'll call it rulemaking. That's what they've already been trying the last 2 years. Now they're politically just going to try to ram it through. I also have another article here out of CBS News where they're announcing that they're getting together $20 million to begin with from rich mega banks and globalists. In fact, guys, I aimed that to you, but it may not have come through because I didn't see it. It was a CBS News article that had Bill Clinton video in it about a national plan to raise money to pass laws at state level. The point is they're bringing a bunch of money to come after our guns. They're at the White House right now, twisting the arm of the NRA president to go along with all this. This is serious. Very, 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 very serious. Now, Doug Hagmann is coming up in 30 minutes, and I have not talked to him since I got back from New York. He has talked to his DHS source, who told him that, indeed, we were under surveillance, and it was feds, not Bloomberg detectives. Well, they look like, because I've seen Bloomberg's, quote, detectives, like the mafia, around him multiple times in New York covering things. They look like New York detectives to me. But a lot of times they're under the feds. They all looked exactly like they were brothers or something. I mean, it was just absolute archetype, Goodfellas types, but you could tell they were cops, like something out of a movie. And they were in the hotel. They were following us, all this. But I was reading what Doug Hagmann put out on his website, and he's going to be joining us 30 minutes about it. And I didn't tell anybody what motel or hotel we were staying in. It was a little boutique hotel CNN put us in. I didn't tell anybody there was a Starbucks caddy corner to it. I didn't tell Hagmann this. I didn't tell listeners this. Nobody told anybody this. I hadn't gone through all the details. In his article, his federal source described it all, and that they were planning to cause a confrontation. That's what my gut told me. I was like, they want to cause a confrontation, stay away from them. So I would literally just turn and walk the other direction, hail a cab, get out. I'd be walking back, more of them. I mean, they were definitely, and you'd see them. They'd be looking at a cell phone, looking around, and I mean, they weren't even good at it. They'd be talking in their sleeve and, I'm not looking at you, and then start following you. People were like, well, go confront them. And we did get one of them on video. We were coming out of CNN. Well, two more were coming, and I just said cab and got out of there because they planned to cause a confrontation. Got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. They'll become enough for counting when the dealing's done. And the money I'm looking for, the treasure I'm looking for is liberty. That was another reason I was real angry when I got in there. I was under the weather, hadn't had a lot of sleep, in a bad mood. And I think overall we did a good job getting in their face. I got sent a little text message. I ought to get him on the show about it. Billy Corrigan, listener of the show, friend, he said, Alex, you broke people's hypnosis. Couldn't have done a better job. John Rappaport said the same thing. And people said, man, that was really calculated and good how you made that big scene. It was just, I was sick of him. And I was sick of them going, oh, yeah, have him sit out front. Yeah, look what he's wearing. And I'm like, oh, you're going to make me look really fat. I mean, it was just, they were a bunch of wolves. I wanted them to know I wasn't going to sit there and play nice with them. And so that's what happened. But it's just a huge broadcast today, totally jam-packed on so many fronts. We're going to launch officially the transmission on the other side of this quick break. It is Thursday, the 10th day of January, 2013.
I'm gonna leave you.
Hello.
Looking back on 2012, we ask ourselves, how did we ever survive? From natural disasters like Hurricane Sandy and the devastating summer drought to the family hardships brought on by a disastrous economy. Our hearts go out to those that have lost everything. At eFoods Direct, we hear from customers every day that are fortunate enough to weather life's storm by having a supply of food on hand. After Hurricane Sandy, Danny from New York City wrote, "Almost all of the grocery stores are closed, but I managed to get my eFoods just in time to be able to help my sister and niece. It is better to be prepared 10 years too early than one day too late. I can warn you, but I can't feed you." Heed the warnings and do what Alex has done. Call 800-409-5633 today or go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex and build your food supply. It's the best tasting, non-GMO, long-term storable food on the planet. Call 800-409-5633 or efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can bet your life on eFoods Direct.
If you want an American company with American products made by Americans, here is the Cal Ben Soap Company. Alex and his staff have used these pure soap products for years. These all-natural soaps are made from the highest quality vegetable and coconut oils that are earth-friendly and safe. See them on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091 for a free catalog. Buy the 1 to 2 month sample package and enjoy soaps that are twice as good as what you're using now. Or save big with a 1 to 2 year supply of soaps for all your cleaning needs. This is an amazing deal. You can save thousands of dollars and you will love the way real soap makes you feel. See them on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091 for a free catalog.
Alex Jones here with a message to fellow freedom lovers. The prognosis for the entire planetary economic system runs from bad to worse. The globalist model is to shut down societies and starve patriots out until they acquiesce to the global takeover. That's why we've assembled the most vital and important preparedness items at InfoWarsShop.com. These are items that I did research on, that I personally use. We've got the life straw, so you can turn fetid water into safe water anywhere you go. The K-Tor hand crank generator to charge up key equipment during power outages or out in the field. Strategic Relocation, 3rd edition by Joel Skousen. When Disaster Strikes by Matthew Stein. ThyroSafe, used by Homeland Security to protect yourself during any radiological event. Hand crank shortwave AM/FM radios. Everything that we've researched and found to be the best is available at InfoWarsShop.com, and your purchase makes our InfoWar possible. We're getting prepared. Are you? InfoWarsShop.com.
I was trained in firearms. I carried a concealed weapon. I made the determination that if somebody was going to try to take me out, I was going to take them with me.
If I could have gotten 51 votes in the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, picking up every one of them, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in, I would have done it.
Defending the Republic from enemies, foreign and domestic. It's Alex Jones.
I'm only a man just like you, but I am a soldier of the Republic, and I'm doing the best I can in trench warfare at point-blank range against these globalists for 17 years. And all I ask is that you stand beside me. All I ask is that you recognize that we're living in total tyranny. You read the headlines today, it sounds like 1984. I was walking by the bank of televisions we have in there in the newsroom, and I looked at the lower thirds, and it was police to take blood nationwide without warrants at checkpoints. And then I'd walk back by, and it would be Predator drones to be operated by the UN worldwide. And then I walked back by, and it was drones to be armed in the U.S. And then I walked back by, and it said, Alex Jones, revolution coming. It's just totally bizarre how crazy things have gotten. And I got in here about an hour before showtime this morning, and they handed me a email from Doug Hagmann of the Northeast Intelligence Network, who runs a nationwide famous private investigation outfit that done work for the feds and state and local government. And he described how I was surveilled in New York and what happened where, things I haven't even talked about. Because, you know, even though I've mentioned being tailed and harassed, it's quite frankly kind of embarrassing that I ran. But I did it because my gut said, get out of here. They want to set you up. They can drop something on you. They can stab you, whatever. And it was clear that they were tracking us by our cell phones. Because whenever I'd come around a corner, they'd be looking at the phone and then look up and then walk into a wall and then start tailing us. They were following us, just like when your wife knows your number, she can track you exactly down to the foot of where you're at. You know, you're driving down a road trying to find something and your pin is blue, it's moving. Where you're going is the red pin down to feet. Those systems were designed and put into phones by the Telecommunications Act of '96. And not only could I tell they were what I've seen New York detectives look like in videos where they're tailing Luke Radowski and harassing him, and when I've been covering events and seen Bloomberg surrounded by them, I knew because I'd walk around a corner no matter where I went, and there'd be guys getting out of a car and then going like this and they're looking at their phones. Or I'd walk around a corner and there'd be guys looking at their phones and looking up. And then if you looked at them, they'd say, hey, hi, Alex, you know, big fan. And then, you know, give you a dirty look. And then you're walking in, they've got the guys there, you're walking out, you tell security, I don't want to go out this door. Bloomberg's people are out there. And the guy's like, you're going out this door. I go, but that's a mall entrance. It's right there. I can see out the door. And he goes, I'm not opening that for you. And you could see the glass out into the mall. And I said, I want to go over there. And he said, I'm not going to open that door. I said, fine, get your camera rolling. So we started to go out the other door and got one shot of a guy you see talking into his windbreaker. And then he turns as we walk out when he sees the camera and puts his face in the wall. People say, well, why not confront him? I look down the street and two more of them are coming up going, that's him. And I'm like, whoa, they're not, cops aren't this confident unless they're about to set something up. And I just said, please, God, let there be a taxi, because taxis never stop. And I went like this, and a taxi stopped. We got in and got out of there. And dude's reviewing the tape. I said, try to get some footage. I mean, and again, we get to the hotel. Now the street's blocked off. Little bitty boutique hotel they put us in. There's a Starbucks right there. And we went, got our bags, went and got a cab and said, go to New Jersey, because that's where our flight was out of anyways. That's where the main direct flights out of Austin go to Newark. Went to a hotel, got out of there. And that happened. And then Doug Hagmann, I haven't even told 1/10 the story, sends me an email saying, this is what my federal source said. This is what they did to you. Good thing you didn't go to the Starbucks across the street, because that's where they were going to set you up with a woman who's going to come up and get in your face. And then they only use selective video of me saying get back or whatever to make me look like I'm attacking a woman. And they've tried that before, folks. I mean, this is right out of movies which is based on the real story in JFK, where the district attorney, Garrison, goes in the bathroom at the airport, and the guy starts running in the stall trying to have sex with him, and then he runs out, and then the police are like, hey, stop, but by then he's already gone. And see, if you haven't lived this, ladies and gentlemen, you don't know. And you've seen the footage of us tailed, and then they go ahead and pull us over in Canada, and it's cops, or they arrest us, or, you know, Bilderberg Group security's talking into, you know, to their lapels and following us. You know, getting in the car, speeding after us, Secret Service questioning us, Bohemian Grove. You know, I told you that I went with History Channel and that they got arrested and I jumped in the river and swam off. Then later, 6 months later, they air the piece, and sure enough, you know, there's the video of it. People are like, oh, well, where's your footage? I'm sorry, I jumped in the river. I mean, I wasn't going to jail with the police. I mean, this is the real life I live, okay? It's real. And I know for those of you that have not been on the front lines, as a real journalist, I'm not trying to make it gonzo journalism, where I'm the story. Believe me, I want nothing more than to not be here and to not have to do this. I want nothing more than to just live in a free country. You know how creepy it is to have multiple people, including an ambassador's daughter, on Piers Morgan 2 nights ago, talking about how great it would be to see me shot and killed and how I need to be popped. And you know, those security people in their little CIA-style FBI suits at CNN, I'm telling them, I go, I want to go out the mall entrance, because I'd seen that. I go, I want to go out in the open mall. And they go, no, you're not. And I go, no, I want to go. And they go, okay, We'll go by there. And I go, okay, there it is. And they go, I'm not opening that door because I have to open it for you. And I went, come on. And the guy just laughed. He goes, no, you're going out there. And he was really excited, like, you're going out there. And he walks out, and you see, again, some guys turn this way. And this other guy walks in the wall, and I walk out, and more are coming. And then he was trying to stop me. We're starting to go to the cab. He goes, wait. And I go, what? And he goes, give me your badges that were little paper badges that had to be, and I just threw it at him. But the point is, and then he's like looking as I drive off, like, ooh. I mean, it's just trash. They all want to play mafia. Well, you know what? I got there. I covered it. I got the information out. We're going to analyze and go through the little bit of footage we do have. Do put some of it out the first night he was back, actually. But this is the type of stuff we deal with. And I have been so busy fighting the globalist since I got back. You'll have to bear with me that everybody's got these incredible chest colds right now, and I've had this one for weeks. I thought it was just allergy related, but I actually had a fever last night. So I'm not complaining. I just want you to know I am under the weather here. If you hear the wheezing and stuff on air, or occasional coughing, it's just too important at times to not be here. But you know how it is with these chest colds where you've got to focus just not to go into a coughing fit on air. But Hagmann's joining us coming up. I thought I would play first a clip just to remind you that after this happens, they come on the next night and talk about how they want to pop me, how great it would be to see Piers Morgan in a uniform killing me. Because that's their fantasy, the state, the power, the uniform. We're going to execute you. Like somebody in a ditch in Nazi Germany. Let's cue up. Buzz Bissinger says pop him, and they agree. Clip number 3, and then we're going to go to a compilation of Rob Dew that he heard last night of Doug Hagmann from the 27th saying they're getting ready to go after, even physically, pro-gun groups, and then tied into Conan O'Brien attacking me, putting a gun in my hand with a computer animation and all the rest of it. But here is Buzz Bissinger. Here it is.
But what do you need a semi-automatic weapon for? The only reason I think you need it is, Pierce, challenge Alex Jones to a boxing match, show up with a semi-automatic that you got legally, and pop him.
I'd love to see that. In uniform.
I'll borrow my brother's uniform.
I don't think guns are more
there you go.
The answer.
I'll borrow my brother's. And then there's the part about, we hope his kids don't get killed one night. We hope his kids don't kill. Really, I hope they don't get killed. And on and on and on and on and on. And
I don't want Alex Jones to get the phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning that one of his children have been shot and killed by somebody who shouldn't have a handgun or a rifle or a automatic weapon. I don't want him to get that phone
yeah, thank you for talking about my kids in the same episode. I mean, a 5-year-old would understand exactly what all this is about. And then I get this, I mean, Doug Hagmann definitely has the sources, he says, because the sources I have send me a Homeland Security document or a tip. But, I mean, Doug Hagmann out on the East Coast, I mean, he describes what happened here. I mean, sure, there are a lot of Starbucks in New York and things, but, I mean, he described that, that there was a Starbucks right by the hotel, and that's where they were planning to confront me. I mean, imagine, we show up and the streets are blocked around our little hotel, a little boutique hotel, and there's more guys out front, and I walk in, there's more guys inside. And these weren't guys in dark suits that were the bellman or the hotel security. They had eyes for you-know-who. And it just went on and on. I was like, wow, what are they planning? What were they planning? Well, he says he knows that all his DHS source knows they were going to get into a confrontation with me. And my gut was, don't let them get in a conversation with you. They're going to set you up somehow. Whether it was drugs or say that crackheads shot me, I don't know. But, man, they were so angry. And these guys were looking at me like they wanted to kill me. And, again, this is what they want to do to all of us. They hate the fact we've got guns, and they can't just go around arresting us all. You notice they're all saying gun owners are the new terrorists, conservatives, libertarians are the new terrorists. That's all the Homeland Security. And if gun owners cower to this, if we give in to this, it's over. This is a mafia takeover. That's what the New World Order is. It's an organized crime syndicate takeover. We've got all the clips where they're announcing, yeah, we're going to go after your guns. And no, the president can't take your guns with an executive order, CNN said this morning. They can use existing rulings with an executive order to take your guns. Just amazing spin.
Looking back on 2012, we ask ourselves, how did we ever survive from natural disasters like Hurricane Sandy and the devastating summer drought to the family hardships brought on by a disastrous economy? Our hearts go out to those that have lost everything. At eFoods Direct, we hear from customers every day that are fortunate enough to weather life's storm by having a supply of food on hand. After Hurricane Sandy, Danny from New York City wrote, "Almost all of the grocery stores are closed, but I managed to get my eFoods just in time to be able to help my sister and niece. It is better to be prepared 10 years too early than one day too late. I can warn you, but I can't feed you. Heed the warnings and do what Alex has done. Call 800-409-5633 today or go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex and build your food supply. It's the best tasting, non-GMO, long-term storable food on the planet. Call 800-409-5633 or efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can bet your life on eFoods Direct.
American gardeners and fellow patriots, make the right choice with your money, time, and your family food supply. Choose 100% pure heirloom seeds in the Survival Seed Vault from MyPatriotSupply.com. Why spend more? The Survival Seed Vault from MyPatriotSupply.com is only $37.95 and includes 20 varieties of pure, hardy, easy-to-grow heirloom seeds. Yes, only $37.95. That's 70% less than our competitors. You could buy 3 Survival Seed Vaults for less than one of theirs. The Survival Seed Vault from MyPatriotSupply.com includes detailed planting and seed-saving instructions and ships same day. Plus, all orders over $49 ship free. MyPatriotSupply.com is American-owned by patriots like you, passionate about freedom and preparedness. Call now, 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Or discover more emergency preparedness items when you order at MyPatriotSupply.com. Choose the original. Choose the Survival Seed Vault at MyPatriotSupply.com.
HempUSA.org has a newly designed website and a new and improved detoxification product. Order our new microplant powder gold loaded with vitamins, minerals, iodine, and probiotics, and we'll send you our travel-size microplant powder absolutely free. Microplant powder only at HempUSA.org. Call 908-691-2608. That's 908-691-2608. And see what our powder, seeds, and oil can do for you only at HempUSA.org. Hurry, this offer ends January 31st.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
Is this the year you finally get serious about your family's drinking water? If so, keep listening for a special offer from Big Berkey Water Filters. Did you know that over 60% of municipal water is fluoridated? Berkey Water Filters distinguish themselves from many other filtration systems with the capability to significantly reduce dangerous chlorine, fluoride, arsenic, and disinfection byproducts from municipal water via the Black Berkey and PF line of filters. Then there's affordability. At only 1.7 cents per gallon, Berkey Water Filters purify treated and untreated water, even stagnant pond water. Stop and think how much money you could save by simply reducing buying bottled water and using water filtered by your Berkey water filter. No need to be constantly replacing expensive filters with a Berkey. A single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. Choose the best size Berkey for your needs at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And right now, all GCN listeners get 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Just call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY or visit BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. Free shipping on every order over $50. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
We're back live. Alex Jones here. We're going to get into all the attacks, the talk of executive orders, Cuomo getting all excited, saying, we're going to get their guns. Yay! Well, I thought I wasn't supposed to get excited. I thought I wasn't supposed to get in their face. You know, we're told, sit down, shut up, be gentlemanly, while we are basically gang raped financially and politically by the New World Order. Our forebears went to war over being disarmed. Imagine some of these ninnying mainline conservatives that are like, Alex shouldn't have gotten in his face. Well, our country wouldn't even exist if people hadn't gotten in the redcoats' face. We've gotten here by laying down and becoming comfortable with basically anything. Let me tell you, have you noticed no other national TV has wanted me on, even though Piers Morgan's ratings doubled to 1 million? from 500,000, his highest ratings ever the night after I was on. Next night, 800 and something thousand. It's already dropping. You think they'd all want me on? They were crying. They were panicked. They were hyperventilating because they want to keep you in an NPR trance. Smart guy, Billy Corrigan, sent me a text message. He said, right after it, he said, you just broke the hypnosis. Best I ever saw. I didn't even intend to do that. But that's what it did. It breaks the comfort zone. It gets us up. It gets us awake. To use the Lord of the Rings analogy, like when Wormer Grimewood has got the king of Gondar, or the king of Rohan is in a trance, and he's like, I'm old, I can't fight the evil. And Gandalf breaks the spell and says, arise! And he goes, and then the weakness leaves his eyes. We need to pray to God to break this spell the globalists have put over us. That's what it is. We need a pep rally for liberty. That's why they wanted to intimidate me and set me up, because they know they're finally going from he doesn't exist to this guy has a giant audience, tens of millions. We've got to stop him. He's dangerous. Glenn Beck saying the same thing, because they all come from the same area, wanting to act like there's separation between these groups. They're factions of the same sewage line. And here is a compilation of clips from Doug Hagmann on with us, who's coming up in a minute, from the 27th, and then everything he talked about coming true with Conan O'Brien, 28th, putting a gun in my hand on the show like I was shooting him. I mean, this is the type of stuff, and you say, oh, that's funny, but it's the image it sells. Here is Hagmann talking about what was coming in the future. Here it is.
My source told me pretty much exactly what their plans are and what their contingency plans are. They've got plan A, B, C, and D, whereas one of my sources calls that a no single point failure. So they're going to come at us on multiple levels. It's just not going to be the legislative level. It's going to be through executive orders, through global initiatives, through health initiatives. It's really an insidious situation.
But the president is going to act, or executive orders, executive action that can be taken. We haven't decided what that is yet.
And they're not only coming after the guns, Alex, they're coming after the mouthpieces. They're coming after the Alex Joneses of the world, and Doug Hagmann's and others who speak the truth.
But tonight, I'll go head-to-head with a man who actually wants to deport me for having these very views.
They are going to marginalize us before they take us down. They're going to make us look foolish, to make us look like fools on the internet before they pull the plug, obviously.
Now, the two men debated gun control. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Alex was the one who took the pro-gun position.
And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take off firearms. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand? Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns.
Holy no one's taking away all the guns.
According to my source, the very first people to be rounded up, the very first targets, if you will, on the radar of this regime are the people that are speaking the truth about what's taking place. Alex Jones, Doug Hagmann, others like us who are getting to the heart of the matter. We are the targets for not only the censorship, but for what's coming after that. What's coming after that is the actual, the physical part of it, to take us out of the fight before it really begins.
Challenge Alex Jones to a boxing match, show up with a semi-automatic that you got legally, and pop him.
I'd love to see that. In uniform.
There you go. And if you're a radio listener, we were putting articles up during that Fox News. YouTube gun enthusiast shooting death spurs hunt for suspect. He owned a gun-making factory, FPS Russian. He was the guy behind it all, tied down in a chair, shot in the back of the head. Some evidence is coming out, tortured, no guns or money taken. Another top manufacturer of firearms who was going public exposing government drugging of the kids being behind it, he is dead now. And it looks like some more deaths are developing. We're going to be breaking all this down, ladies and gentlemen. If this continues, it's not just a pattern. We know what's going on. We're going to talk to Doug Hagmann straight ahead. He has a federal source that knew exactly what they were planning to do to me in New York.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Millions of people are going to get sick this winter from colds, flu, and other illnesses. Don't be one of them. Protect yourself with Supernatural Silver, a revolutionary new broad-spectrum antibacterial solution. Recent advances in silver technology have resulted in a silver solution that can be used daily to prevent bacteria, viruses, mold, and food poisoning, and help improve wound healing. Supernatural Silver is safe enough to consume every day, while powerful enough to destroy the causes of many serious diseases, such as strep, staph, pneumonia, colds, flus, and other harmful pathogens. This new technology has the ability to terminate entire colonies of harmful bacteria at several hundred times the effectiveness of colloidal or ionic silver solutions. The Science Digest Journal says silver is our mightiest germ fighter. It is virtually non-toxic and is emerging as a wonder of modern medicine. Go to supernaturalsilver.com today and use the promo code SILVER2012 for 20% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com, and like us on Facebook.
Sick of the globalists, eugenicists, control freaks adding poison to your water and laughing as you get sick and die? Start purifying your water with ProPure. My friends, I've done a lot of research, and the best gravity filter out there, bar none, is ProPure. And it's available discounted at Infowars.com. Its filters are silver impregnated to prevent bacterial growth. There's no priming required. It's NSF 42 certified. Optional fluoride filters can reduce fluoride up to 95%. Easy to set up and use. Doesn't require electricity. Purify water from lakes, streams, ponds, and wells. This filter system leaves in beneficial minerals, which is key. Save money by not buying bottled water and avoid BPA that leaches from the plastic. ProPure is the best gravity-fed filter out there. It's what my family uses. Infowars.com already has the lowest price on ProPure. But if you add the promo code WATER at checkout, you get an additional 10% off at Infowars.com. You can also call to order 888-253-3139.
If you want an American company with American products made by Americans, here is the Cal Ben Soap Company. Alex and his staff have used these pure soap products for years. These all-natural soaps are made from the highest quality vegetable and coconut oils that are earth-friendly and safe. See them on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091 for a free catalog. Buy the 1 to 2 month sample package and enjoy soaps that are twice as good as what you're using now. Or save big with a 1 to 2 year supply of soaps for all your cleaning needs. This is an amazing deal. You can save thousands of dollars and you will love the way real soap makes you feel. See them on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091 for a free catalog.
Crashing through the lies and disinformation. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live and we are broadcasting worldwide. And we're going to go through some clips here. We've got Doug Hagmann of the Northeast Intelligence Network on the line with us. And I got an email from him today, and it's up on his website right now. Kurt Nimmo is going to be posting it at Infowars.com and getting it out to folks. And we're also going to give you his website so you can go look it up for yourself. But it's HomelandSecurityUS.com. And that night when I went on Piers Morgan, the first 2 or 3 times somebody pops out of a doorway and says, hey, I'm a big fan, when you're just walking down a random street and they look just like a undercover cop, and one time, you see the gun on their side, you're like, okay. But then when you start seeing guys in your hotel looking at you like they want to kill you, and they're obviously off-duty police or detective types, and then when you notice you're being followed, or you notice they're out front CNN, and when you come out, they're out there. We even have some footage of one of these guys. It gets really crazy. And my gut was, and my dad never calls me. Not when I snuck in Bohemian Grove. He knew I was about to do it. Not when I'm at Bilderberg. My dad called me and said, you know what, I think you ought to, watch your back and get out of New York as quick as you can. I said, well, it's funny. We're flying out of New Jersey in the morning. I'm going to go ahead and just go to another hotel there. I'm leaving now. So that went on. Then the next night, and I've played this clip ad nauseum, we'll play it again coming up here in a few minutes. I am simply watching the next episode of Piers Morgan, and one guy says, man, gee, I hope his kids don't get killed some night. And I'm thinking, I hope that's not a veiled threat. Well, that was creepy the way they said that. And then they go to the next guest, and they go, yeah, you ought to get a gun and pop him, shoot him. And then the other guest goes, yeah, and you could wear a uniform. And Piers like, ooh, I'll get my brother's uniform. I guess he's in the military or something. And it's just all bizarre. And then these tweets, people say they want to kill me and all this stuff. The point is this really went on. I've been all over the place. You know, I've gone and bullhorned Buckingham Palace and the Parliament. I've gone and been there when there's mass arrests at the DNC in New York. I've gone and been covering the DNC in Denver, and guys run up and start screaming, kill Michelle Malkin, with video shooting from in front with a guy right behind me. I'm like, why is he behind me screaming, kill Michelle Malkin? Well, it was so they could put it out instantly on the wires. The news just went with it. It was a setup saying I said kill her. So I've learned about dirty tricks. And thank God we had our own footage later, put it out showing I wasn't saying that. It was guys behind me. By the grace of God, they tried to destroy me with that. It was like the headlines were, the end of Alex Jones. He says, kill woman. Now, we were in a boutique hotel CNN put us in. And I'm checking into this thing at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon Monday. And I'm looking around me. And you know, have you been to enough events or covering enough stuff, you know what detectives look like. And you know what they look like in New York City. And you know what they look like when they're undercover. They stick out like sore thumbs with windbreakers or sports jackets, and they're looking at you. You can tell they're accustomed to authority and doing whatever they want, especially in New York. And if you say something to them, they're like, hey, how you doing? I mean, it's ridiculous. Or you walk out the door and they see you and start talking in their sleeve and then turn and then walk into a wall. I mean, yeah, absolutely. In fact, if you're a TV watcher, he's going to roll some of the video of one of the guys. As we leave CNN Center, I'm like, hey, start rolling. I see one of them. Dude turns the camera on instantly. And the guy talking into his sleeve, he then goes back. I don't know if dude got it, but he starts walking into the wall. As soon as he sees the camera, he turns and walks into the wall to get away from the camera. And then there are 2 more guys coming up, so I hail a taxi. You can even see it. See the taxi? That taxi's pulling up with the grace of God. I hail it and get in as more guys dressed just like him. Imagine you're walking around town, and these guys come out of doorways and go, hey, Alex, how you doing? Obviously, always looking down at their cell phones. You say, well, some of them could have been listeners. Yeah, maybe 1 out of the 7 or whatever. And then, it's not on tape, but he turns, because dude starts going over to him for a second and walking into the wall. And I said, dude. I remember doing that. I said, dude, come on. And I'm like, taxi. And see, I'm looking back right there at 2 more guys coming up the street dressed just like him so they can all recognize each other. Okay? And then I look down the street and I see the taxi. I hail it. It stops. I get out of there. Unbelievable. And so you can see me right there looking back. And dude was going to confront him. And my instinct was, get out of here. You know, normally I'll confront. But I'm like, wait a minute. They're turf right outside. Why are they doing this? Boom. It happens. Okay. Okay, that said, Doug, I'm going to give you the floor to roll. I want you to go through the entire write-up that your source gave you, what this signifies, and I'm going to play some of the clips here. Okay? I want to play some of the clips here, but I'm going to give you the floor until we go to break in about 10 minutes. So, because if I ever start interrupting, I'll just interrupt. I want you to go through your story, because here's what happened. Sure, there are 100 Starbucks in New York or more. I was in a little boutique about 10 blocks away from there, no Starbucks around, right on the corner. We come back, the road is blocked around the hotel suddenly. There's more of these guys out there. I see people looking at me out the Starbucks, and I said, this is a setup. And dude's like, yeah, let's get out of here. I don't know what they were planning, but your guy, from everything he said, now I know you're 100% for real, because there's stuff in here I didn't tell anybody. Because, quite frankly, it sounds crazy, but I knew I had to get out of there, so I shot the video before I left the hotel, picked my bags up, and left. So Northeast Intelligence Network, law enforcement, certified, 30 years, private investigator, working with the feds, the state, you name it. Doug Hagmann, you were here with us a week and a half ago on the 27th and 28th. You said they're going to start targeting us with dirty tricks, but also physically. Now there's been prominent deaths with the #1 gun show in the world that was pro-Second Amendment, the guy that runs it, killed execution style, others being killed. What is happening, Doug Hagmann? You have the floor.
All right, Alex. Well, thank you for having me. And I got to tell you, I was quite surprised. I did catch your performance, your appearance on Piers Morgan. I had no idea where you were staying. I had no idea what your itinerary was, who you were with, or whatever.
We have not talked until now.
Exactly.
I couldn't get a hold of you yesterday. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was away yesterday, and when I had I had contacted my DHS source, the individual who had given me the information I appeared on your show with last time. And he said, I want to tell you something that I found out. It's very disturbing. And if you could relay this to Mr. Jones and the gentleman that he was traveling with. Now, apparently you were traveling with another individual. I don't know. My information, direct information from you is zero, and in terms of the situation is kind of spotty anyway. So I'm not exactly certain. Other than what he told me, he said, "Look, here's the deal." He said, "Your itinerary, Alex, as soon as the wheels were down in New York, you were under surveillance, active surveillance by." To at least 2 federal agencies, one of the 2 being the Department of Homeland Security. 3-man teams of surveillance. Now, we don't know how many, or I was not told how many total agents were involved in this, but you were under active surveillance. But not only just covert surveillance, because that's normal surveillance. This was a bumper lock type surveillance. Now, I wrote a textbook on surveillance that's used for law enforcement training, as well as college courses for Homeland Security. So I understand the different types of surveillance we're talking about, but bumper lock surveillance is where you make your presence known to the subject you're following. And the words from my source were this: the instructions to the teams were, bumper lock him, make it obvious, do whatever you can, just make sure he knows, handle him as a hostile. Which tells me that they wanted you to know that you were being followed, at least during part of the operation. Now, from what I sense and what I had deducted from my conversation with my source, there were a couple of different operations going on here. The first of all was the attempt to psychologically intimidate you. Now, from what I understand, and again, I don't know if you recorded it, I don't know what time, if it was live or whatever, but some of this happened before. The surveillance happened, obviously, before the interview as well as after the interview. But the bumper lock type of surveillance, the physical intimidation, was especially before the interview. And I suspect that would be to destabilize you, to keep you off guard. And that's what that was. But you had 3-man teams, actually, 3-man teams of operatives following you around. Now, the other part of this, the other side of this story, and this is something that didn't shock me, didn't really surprise me, but alerted me. And I alluded to this in our interview the last time we spoke, was you were going to be set up, Alex. That's the long and short of it. You were going to be set up. It's important that you are to know that there was a woman by a Starbucks. And again, I don't know I don't know where you were. I don't know if you passed a Starbucks or if you're in the vicinity of one. But apparently, you were to be accosted by or have some sort of physical altercation with a female in front of or near a Starbucks. Now, I know that they're prolific in New York City. I guess it wouldn't be a stretch, but nonetheless, if one was close to the studio or your hotel or whatever, I would imagine, or however if you pass by one, with the intent, Alex, to make you look, to embarrass you. In other words, and there was a video surveillance too. Let me just reinforce that. In addition to the obvious overt bumper lock surveillance, there was video surveillance. So the intent of this female was to accost you in a way that you would have to push her off or do something to get her away from you. That would then be on videotape or on disc, on security camera. Covert surveillance surveillance footage taken covertly, and then used against you to marginalize you, to show that you were a violent man, to show that you're out of control, and the fact that it'd be a woman makes it even more hideous. And then that's what That's what my source told me. That's with respect to your presence in New York City. That's also my understanding, and I don't know this for a fact, that this also was interstate, and also may have involved another state, New Jersey, where they crossed the state lines into New Jersey as well. But the fact of the matter is, the orders for surveillance came from the higher levels of DHS. This was a DHS sanctioned operation. This was not an NYPD thing. Now it's possible that the NYPD.
Okay, I mean they just look like NYPD detectives I'd seen. They didn't look like feds. I mean they look like scary guys.
Oh, I'm sure they did. And it's also possible, too. I did not get a lot of details. The contact I had with my source was pretty short, pretty narrow in terms of information, pretty abrupt. But that's the bottom line, that this was a DHS-headed operation involving at least one other federal agency. And, oh, by the way, there was coordination. And I don't know, I'm not familiar with CNN or their security staff, but there was coordination there with building security as well.
Oh, no, the guy was laughing at me. I said, listen, I want to go out. I saw a mall entrance because it's built onto a giant mall. I said, I want to go out there. And they said, no, you're going out there, and really enjoyed shoving me out on the street with one guy that turned and walked into the wall looking right at us. Two more guys. By the grace of God, I got that cab. My instinct said, get in the cab, get out of here.
You did well. I mean, follow that little voice, but you did well, because had you fallen into any one of these traps that they had set up for you, things could have turned out dramatically different for you. And this is one thing, too, that the high-profile people, the gun owners, the people that speak out, the proponents of the Second Amendment, the proponents of the Constitution, we are in trouble. We are targets for this kind of thing. And people think, oh, this doesn't happen. No, it happens all the time. And well, not all the time. It happens more than you think. And it's sanctioned activity, because what better way can they take us out of the fight? By marginalizing us, by push a woman, or you're caught doing something. They take the video and edit it so it looks a little bit different. And what I have seen are clips from the late night show that you had shown, where you had a gun in your hand.
Shooting
which
people.
Wasn't there. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So the capabilities, obviously, of what they're capable of. But
why do you think the next night they came on and made cryptic statements about my children being killed at night, and then cryptic statements about how they all want to shoot me and kill me and how much fun it would be?
Alex, I don't have any direct information on that, so what I would say would be speculation. But once again, there's a destabilization factor to keep you off focus, off target. And we see this happen to others a lot. When you're fixated on a target, the most vulnerable thing, the most vulnerable you can be, is when they start talking about your wife, your children, your parents, if they're elderly. They do this, and they do it intentionally and maliciously, with the intent to get you focused on something else, and to even perhaps intimidate you into silence. This is not by accident. Those comments, for as many people, and it's funny, because you could have someone in a studio, and I've seen this happen before in other situations. You can have somebody in a studio that they're told to say something about, oh, just go ahead and make a joke about, we know he's got kids, or make a joke, we know he's got a family. Go ahead and make a joke about the family, if you can fit it in there. It's done by design, and it's done to intimidate.
No, that's exactly what they do. And so why did your DHS source reach out to you on this? Because they were concerned?
Absolutely. My source is a God-fearing Christian man. He knows what's going on. He doesn't like it. He understands that there is a need for security for the United States, but there is not need for this out-of-control, tyrannical, gun-grabbing police state that we are involved in.
What do you make of SPS Russian, the head guy behind it being killed execution style, tied down in a chair, shot in the back of the head, nothing stolen from his factory?
I got to tell you, Alex, the first time I heard about it was yesterday, and in fact, when I heard part of your program, I got to tell you, I'm very concerned about this. I do think, as we talked earlier about the purge, I think that there is a purge taking place. And as some of the more high-profile people, they will set examples. They will take people out.
And they canceled 3 gun shows that were top shows on Discovery. Another top manufacturer died very mysteriously. I've got that article out of Military Times. I mean, this is starting to get a little crazy. If we see a couple more of these, we know it's like a Clinton death list type deal against gun owners. Because this is a globalist mafia we're dealing with. And if they can't get it legislatively, or if we won't go along with an executive order, I guess they think they're just going to start going after us.
And they think that they can get away with it. The hubris behind these people is something to be reckoned with and to be recognized. But that's also indicative of their weakness as well. We have to understand that these people are psychopaths. I mean, really, they're real psychopaths. The way they think, and people might think I'm crazy, but the Luciferian satanic agenda, that mindset, folks, that's real.
It is. Stay there, investigative reporter and investigator.
Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the global elite are now storing non-hybrid seeds in secret storage vaults near the Arctic Circle? Did you know that in a real meltdown, non-hybrid seeds can become more valuable than silver or gold? It's true, seeds have outperformed even gold and silver before in this country, and it's possible that could even happen again. So our friends at Solutions from Science have put together the perfect mix of non-hybrid seeds. They call it a survival seed bank, and it can produce an endless supply of nutrient-dense food for you and your family. And here's the best part. These seeds have not been genetically modified in any way, and you actually get enough seeds to plant a full-acre crisis garden. So visit them today at survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com, or give them a call at 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365. Remember, in a real crisis, non-hybrid seeds are the ultimate barter item. This is Alex Jones for survivalseedbank.com.
Weakened by GMOs, stressed out about money, and blasted by the electric environment. Hi, I'm Pastor Jenny, and that was the state I was in back in 2010. Then I learned about RNA drops. I learned that 97% of my DNA that scientists have called junk is actually packed with millions of gene switches that play a critical role in controlling how my cells, organs, and other tissues behave. I learned I don't have to put up with disease, decay, or decline like I'd been conditioned to believe. I began taking RNA drops, a 100% natural formula designed to turn on those switches and provide me with amazing health and joy. Learn more about RNA drops and order a free sample today. Visit rnafreesample.com. That's rnafreesample.com, or call toll-free 888-577-3703. Pay only shipping and handling for a free 30-day supply of RNA drops. Get the information you need and the health you want at rnafreesample.com.
You land in Buenos Aires, then are shuttled to Santa Rosa, where a nicely furnished cabin with all amenities, Wi-Fi, executive food and wine, and laundry service awaits. After a good night's sleep, your adventure begins. You're on a golden stag safari for big game. But it's not Africa, it's Argentina. One-on-one guided hunts for water buffalo, cougar, bighorn rams, wild boar, and the biggest stag deer in South America. All gold medal quality. All the action you can handle. Land Rovers, top rental guns with scopes, all food, beverages, hunting guides, ground transportation included, and more, all more affordable than you can imagine. The adventure of a lifetime starts at goldenstagsafaris.com, the big game hunting ranch. goldenstagsafaris.com.
All they want us to do is keep on killing one another. You know, there's another song. I saw Sheriff John Brown coming down the street with a gun in his hand. You know that song, I shot the sheriff. What was I to do? He drew on me. So we're supposed to just bend over to all this. And the American people aren't going to do that. And, you know, I'll say this on air. I probably, in hindsight, I watched Larry Pratt last night destroy Piers Morgan, and at the end he said, "You're not my friend," to him because he knew he'd been beaten. I wish I could do that more, and sometimes I've gone on shows and been very calm. But when you're got a chest cold, when you're angry, when you've just been messed with on the street by detective after detective or whatever they were popping out of the dark, and you see all the just the disgustingness of it, you get angry. And you know what? We need to get out of our coma. I know a lot of limbing Americans sit there and they see somebody like me getting angry and they go, "That's scary." You know what's scary is the drones in our skies and the NSA spying on us. And people don't even think I snuck into Bohemian Grove because they can't believe anything real was done. They can't believe I made films that have been seen, some of them 40, 50 million times online. I mean, I'm real. You're real. We can beat these globalists. But be honest, Doug Hagmann, about, as you said, my performance on air. I think overall, like Billy Corgan said, it shocks people out of their hypnosis. I think overall it's going to be positive because folks can say, "Hey, makes gun owners look like aggressive people." Folks, our founders tarred and feathered people before the revolution. Our founders killed people that tried to take their rights. I'm not calling for that. What would they think of our founders today? I mean, I simply was there saying, "Look, I'm off the script. I know you want our guns to enslave us. Knock it off." And plus, a foreigner here lecturing us and you know, putting out tweets about how Americans are stupid scum and how he's conquering us. I mean, I'm angry at him. I'm angry I got to risk my life up against these people. I'm angry they act like they care about us all day when they're a bunch of authoritarians. Doug, your take on this?
Well, one thing I have to say, Alex, I can guarantee you this. We do a radio show. I do a radio show with my son every night, and we were talking, and one of the things that came up was this. When you said Piers Morgan, the hatchet man for the New World Order, I can guarantee you that phrase will be remembered and remembered throughout television history. I can guarantee you that numerous things that you said will be remembered. But how many people, for the next guest, I believe it was Sheriff Joe Arpaio, how many people remember what he said? Not too many, but how many people remembered what you said? All the viewers. So was mission accomplished in that respect? I believe it was.
Exactly. They were crying, fuming, melting down. He looked like he'd had his blood drained, and none of the national TVs invited me on. I mean, if I'm so discrediting, why not have me on?
Sure. And you know, the anger issue. At what point, what's it going to take for Americans to get angry? I mean, we're seeing our mothers, our daughters, our aunts, our grandmothers being fondled at the airports. We're being treated like slaves. We're being physically molested. We have women, our wives. I mean, we're the men in this country. Where is the anger? It's easy to sit behind a keyboard, to develop beer muscles, virtual beer muscles behind a keyboard, Alex. It's simple for somebody to do that, sit back here and second guess anybody, second guess you, second guess me, and say, well, you know, whatever. But the bottom line is this: we need to be angry. We need to show that anger, and the anger is a righteous anger.
Well, it's more than that. We're getting to the end of the line here.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, there's two lights at the end of the tunnel. One's a train that's going to run us over. The other's a juncture, and we got to get. I mean, I know my life's on the line. I know this stuff's real. I know those detectives are real. I know the death threats are real, and I'm angry. I know Piers Morgan works for the New World Order. I don't like him.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
You may be arrested and/or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on Earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship, body scanners, sound cannons, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com. or see it online in the highest quality at prisonplanet.tv.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
All right, we got 5 more minutes with Doug Hagmann joining us. You don't understand, ladies and gentlemen. You know, Rob Dew's like, hey, I think we're being followed by those guys. Those guys are cops. And I'm like, yeah, they've been at the hotel since the time we got here. You know, you're in a hotel checking in, you're tired, you don't feel good, you want to go lay down for an hour, and there's guys, obviously police, looking at you. You're just like, oh, hopefully they're just in here for some reason. Then you notice they're, you know, talking into their sleeves because they all get into secret. Just a note, people ever want to be, you know, quote, spies. The really good ones are like old ladies and stuff and aren't sitting there talking into their sports jackets. I mean, it's so ridiculous. But they all get into these movies. They think they're 007 or something. That's not how the real world works. I'm an agent of the Republic. I'm a vestigial leftover of Americana, just there desperately in my own ham-fisted way trying to fight these people. And look, man, I don't do the best job a lot of days. I told you that. You can analyze it, either say it was a great victory or a great defeat. All I know is I'm stumbling into the arena, man, after a lot of hard battles, already exhausted. I mean, I'm like a quarterback that's, you know, been in 12 games in a row and has got both shoulders blown and my knees blown, and I'm there getting run over, and people are like, look at him down on the field stumbling around. Hey, man, there's a war going on. That's all I can tell you. And, you know, I think the course is to get upset and get in their face, and that's what scares the system so much. They'll try to spin getting upset as bad, and it is bad to some people out there that have been lemmingized. But Doug Hagmann of Northeast Intelligence Network, any other points you'd like to add about what happened and what is happening? Do you think talking about this will stop them from trying to set me up?
Well, it can't hurt any, Alex. I mean, their agenda is what their agenda is. They're out to marginalize anyone who is speaking out, proponents of the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, speaking out against tyranny, speaking out against the truth, what they're doing in the shadows. We need to keep doing it. You need to keep doing it. We need to pray for you, Alex, because you're at the tip of the spear. And I think we all need to play our zones, our particular positions. But, you know, you can only last so long out there at the tip of the spear by yourself. You need reinforcements. We need to back you up. We need to back each other up. We have to realize that we're all in this together. I don't want to be trite, but you know how they say, if we don't
hang together, we hang separate.
Exactly, and that's what it is. These people can be intimidated back into submission. They're trying desperately to fulfill their objectives.
They're trying to bully us. We have got to righteously get them back in line.
That's right. And I think, too, Alex, just in my personal opinion, we're fighting a spiritual battle as well, in addition to the earthly battle. And I think we have to recognize that this is pure evil, what's going on out there. And it's just, we need to not only fight on a practical level, but we need to pray on a spiritual level. Certainly our prayers are with you. And
well, my gut told me just get away from those, because I'm usually the type that just confronts, but I thought, well, they could set me up with something. I mean, what do you think they might have been trying to do? Just drop something on me, or what?
I really think the issue at the Starbucks, again, I don't know the geography where you were, if there was one around you.
There was a Starbucks right on the corner, and they blocked the streets off around the hotel, and there were guys watching when we even came up.
Well, that bothers me the most, because I think that whatever they had planned involved getting you on videotape, perhaps shoving, like I said, shoving a woman, or it would have appeared that you were bullying a woman, and that bothers me, because if they can set you up in that fashion, they can set anyone up.
They did that with Michelle Malkin.
Yes. Well, yes. Yes.
They had guys, because I wasn't as sophisticated even 5 years ago at the DNC. It's like, why are these guys standing behind me screaming? And they were.
I remember that.
We caught them on, we got the tape going, kill Michelle Malkin, and then they left with her.
Yeah. We need to be aware of our surroundings all the time. You need to be extra special, careful.
No, I'm gonna have to go the security route now. That's it. I mean, it's obvious. I got Doug, thank you so much. Gerald Celente coming up. Thank you, Doug. We'll check in with you more soon.
All right, sir.
God bless you.
Now that we have moved into the winter season, there is an increased need to support our immunity and health. At Silver Lungs, we are committed to meeting your needs by providing a full selection of silver-based products. Our most popular silver-based products are the 32-ounce Nano Silver Solutions, our 2-ounce Nano Silver Nasal Applicators, as well as our all-natural silver soaps. Just released is our 100% natural silver gel. Our new silver gel is not based on synthetic gelling agents, which quickly evaporate and leave the silver at the surface. But rather, we have formulated our silver gel using the natural skin-nourishing chemistry of aloe vera to quickly penetrate and nourish the skin, while delivering the silver more effectively. Visit www.silverlungs.com and click on our store page to find what silver-based products are best for you. That's www.silverlungs.com.
The new year is a great time to take charge of your health and wellness. Get serious and make a stand with Supernatural Silver. This is a breakthrough in silver technology that is several hundred times more effective than colloidal or ionic silver. Supernatural Silver can be taken orally every day to help fight bacteria, viruses, infections, yeast, and molds. Supernatural Silver is also exceptional for wound care and is highly effective for water purification. It is the #1 choice for thousands of people for immune system support, and it is also a perfect choice for your emergency preparedness. Go to supernaturalsilver.com today and give yourself and your loved ones a fighting chance. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Check out our new low prices and like us on Facebook.
Alex Jones here with a very important announcement for truth seekers. We've carried a lot of amazing films and books over the years on the online video bookstore at Infowars.com. And out of all the titles we've carried, one stands out because it is just so chillingly convincing. And that's Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert, available at Infowars.com. This film exposes the fraud that Obama is like nothing I've seen. If you want to know who Obama's real daddy is, this is the film for you. Don't forget, your purchase supports our broadcast and our growing media network. You'll also find at InfoWarsShop.com None Dare Call It Conspiracy by Gary Allen, the book that woke me up. We're also carrying Behind the Green Mask, You in Agenda 21 by Rosa Corey. This book is coffin nails to the globalist takeover. The Greater Good, the most professional and up-to-date film I've ever seen exposing the scourge that is vaccines. These titles and a lot more are all available at InfoWarsShop.com.
Crashing through the lies and disinformation. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
We are live, ladies and gentlemen, now into the second hour. It is the 10th day here of January 2013. And the national media said how horrible that I pointed my finger at the Brit over here in America telling us to get rid of our Second Amendment and told him 1776 would commence. Well, Ron Paul was on yesterday. We're going to play it later in the hour for Gerald Celente. He agreed. He said, I've always said it's the line in the sand. It'll cause a civil war. I'm not calling for a civil war. Every day you've heard me. I want to stop this from happening. They want to persecute us. They want to come after our guns because the guns go, it all goes. They're already saying they want to raise taxes again now. They're already saying they want to cut benefits again. We're going into austerity, the same blueprint they've used in Europe that Gerald Celente has warned about for so many years. Here's the McClatchy newspaper headline. As new fiscal cliff nears, Democrats seek more tax increases. Before we go to Gerald, though, I want to just say this. Yes, watching Larry Pratt last night, we're going to play this in the next hour, skillfully, calmly destroy Piers Morgan was powerful. And I That is how I would have rather have done it. But I get angry sometimes, and we will make a lot of lemonade out of the lemons. But I don't even think it was lemons to begin with. That's how they try to spin it. Notice they're not inviting me on other shows, national TV shows. They were freaked out because they knew that was going to make big news and get people out of their coma. As a lot of top media people I've talked to, on record, off record, they said, no, that was history-making because it shocked Americans out of their days. At first, it's uncomfortable to somebody under hypnosis, though, to be shocked out of it. And that's what we got. A lot of people were negative up front, but now it's getting more and more positive. That said, I'm always the person to second-guess myself. It is what it is. But I could have gotten to more points. I probably went too far yelling at him into the second segment. Should have done less of that. But it doesn't matter. They're going to misrepresent no matter what. The point is, we're in a coma. When are we going to get angry? That's why I love when Gerald Celente comes on. You know, he gets angry sometimes. Cuomo's all angry in this new speech we're going to play, going, we got to get these guns. They're hurting the kids. Get them. Everybody's like, yeah. Or they're like, oh, don't raise your voice. That's so animalistic. They want us to sit down and shut up. I think we've been way too meek. Did I go too far? Maybe. But the point is, they're demonizing gun owners one way or the other. I want to play this clip of them talking about how I need to be shot, and then the other guest and the host talk about dressing up in a uniform to do it, like it's okay when the state does it. Here's that clip.
But what do you need a semi-automatic weapon for? The only reason I think you need it is, Pierce, challenge Alex Jones to a boxing match, show up with a semi-automatic that you got legally, and pop him.
I'd love to see that. In uniform.
I'll borrow my brother's.
There you go. And he says he'll borrow his brother's uniform. Pierce agrees. Again, if I or Gerald Celente or Ron Paul said anything remotely close to let's kill somebody with a rifle, it would be like it was the end of the world. And then with other people, I mean, folks get arrested all the time for joking around about bars. Hey, I ought to shoot that guy, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Bob, let's do it. Hey, I'll help you. I'll get the bullets. Conspiracy to commit murder. Boom. People are like, we were just joking. Doesn't matter, grand jury just indicted you. These people are on TV knowing nuts are out there. They know when they hype up these school shootings where they victim disarm, it advertises that's a place to go. And so I got into all of that, probably overcompensating because I was under the weather. Never had, I thought it was an allergy, but I actually had a fever last night, so I've had a chest cold. But the point is that it was so disgusting, I blew up. Now, Gerald wants to get into a bunch of economics today and a bunch of other big issues that are happening, but I want to get his take on this. And, of course, the news website that you've absolutely got to visit over there is trendsresearch.com. That's trendsresearch.com. Gerald Celente is an American trends forecaster, publisher of the Trends Journal, business consultant and author who's made a lot of incredibly accurate predictions, not just about events, but major trends. And he's been on every major television news show you can imagine in the world. Trendsresearch.com. Subscribe today. Okay, Gerald. Break down your take, if you want, on the overall open assault on the Second Amendment and how it ties into everything else, and your take on what happened with Piers Morgan.
Well, first of all, I want to say, and I want to make this 100% clear, I am 100% behind Alex Jones on his stand against the government imposing any more legislation, rules, or regulations to take our guns away from us. I am totally opposed to what they are doing, and I totally support your belief in what you're doing to protect our rights. So I want to make that really clear. And as I look at this issue and as it evolves and devolves, the politicians are doing nothing more than using this for political capital. These are a bunch of inepts and incompetents that have failed at everything that they do. Now, all of a sudden, the fiscal cliff is out of the news, and the official jerks who have been officially incapable of doing anything to solve the major problems are now grabbing on this gun control issue. And as you pointed out, they're all shooting off their fat mouths, coming up with their solutions on how to solve the problem. As I look at the problem, this is what I see. 300 million guns out there. what are you going to control? It'll be as ineffective as prohibition. It will be as ineffective as the war on drugs. And it will be costly to everyone, and in the not only financially, but raping us more of our rights from us, which they love to do. They are the DC gang, the greatest rapers of human rights in the history of the United States. They love to rape us. So they're going to be totally ineffective. Number two, as you well know, and I know that you have the facts down on guns and who uses them and where they come from better than virtually anybody out there. And as you well know, Alex, most of the crimes that are committed using guns are committed by the criminals, the gangbangers, and the other slime out there in society. And where did those guns come from? No, no, no. They didn't come from mommy or daddy's closet where they weren't locked up. Those are unregistered guns. Those are black market guns. Hey, maybe they're even the guns from Fast and Furious. Who knows? So then the other issue becomes there is no argument for them to be imposing more rules that are not going to work. So I support your strong stand on we the people should be able to protect ourselves. And as you pointed out, and you showed those little weenies, I love that guy Dershowitz on there. You know, if I was around Alex Jones, and I would be afraid that he would come after me with a gun. Hey, take it easy, Alan boy. If Alex Jones came after you with a feather duster, that would have knocked you over. So these little guys, these little boys out there that are telling us what we should do to protect ourselves, they're way off.
Absolutely. I want to get your next take on that. We've got breaking news, Gerald, and this continues. There's a lot of evidence this could be provocateur. Shooting outside Bakersfield, California, where we have a 50,000-watt affiliate. California school shooting, 2 reportedly shot at Taft Union High School near Bakersfield. At least 2 people were shot. That's how Sandy Hook started, was 2. At Taft Union High School in Kent County, California, this morning, as the suspected shooter has been taken into custody, according to local media reports. Let's pray to God nobody dies. Let's pray to God. It's time to arm these schools now, folks. They're advertising the mental... ABC News in Bakersfield said the incident happened at 9 a.m. That's just minutes ago, their time. This is incredible. Gerald Celente, what's your take on that?
Hey, well, my take again is, what are the other issues that you keep talking about? What kind of psychotropic drugs are these people on? What kind of society, a cruel nature of society, a culture of cruelty that we had? Who are these people that are committing the crimes? What drugs are they on that they wouldn't answer you when you brought it up? That each one of these, there's records of them showing how many people on psychotropic drugs are killing this. How about the new guy Obama just nominated for the CIA, who, as I understand, is so much in favor of, quote, enhanced interrogation techniques? How about torture?
Well, that's like Dershowitz. Dershowitz wrote a paper saying torture should be normalized and they should just torture us whenever they want.
So that's what I'm saying. It's not about...
I mean, he's the one that's creepy. I mean, we've been out to dinner and stuff. We're just normal, nice, calm guys. These are the weird, creepy monsters that think torture's good.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is whatever happened just now is another American tragedy, but it has to do with the entire culture of cruelty. Oh, no, you watch all those violent video games? No, it's not going to affect...
Cruelty to animals. People are into that now. That's like chic.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, no, they're not going to affect everybody violent, but people on the edge that become overconsumed with them. Again, the drugs. No one is talking about the psychotropic drugs. This is not a gun control issue. It's a mind control issue. And the minds of Americans, pick up the paper today. Go look at the last study that just came out. It has nothing to do with this, but everything to do with it.
Gerald Celente, we got to go to break. We'll come back and talk more about this in the economy, trendsresearch.com. And you can get their quarterly magazine that is an absolute must-read for everybody right there at Trends Research.
Looking back on 2012, we ask ourselves, how did we ever survive? From natural disasters like Hurricane Sandy and the devastating summer drought to the family hardships brought on by a disastrous economy. Our hearts go out to those that have lost everything. At eFoods Direct, we hear from customers every day that are fortunate enough to weather life's storm by having a supply of food on hand. After Hurricane Sandy, Danny from New York City wrote, almost all of the grocery stores are closed, but I managed to get my eFoods just in time to be able to help my sister and niece. It is better to be prepared 10 years too early than one day too late. I can warn you, but I can't feed you. Heed the warnings and do what Alex has done. Call 800-409-5633 today or go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex and build your food supply. It's the best tasting, non-GMO, long-term storable food on the planet. Call 800-409-5633 or efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can bet your life on eFoods Direct.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey Water Filtration Systems. The Berkey Light Systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light System today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
Making the right decisions is a challenge to investors. Are we going to see economic growth, slide into a recession, or at worst, depression? Hi, Ted Anderson from Midas Resources. We all know when a company acts irresponsibly, divesting ourselves in a move towards safety is prudent. When the market becomes volatile, U.S. Treasuries are a safe haven. But what do you do when the U.S. government overextends itself and spends beyond its means? Many investors are turning toward gold as a common-sense alternative to traditional paper investments. Midas Resources has put together a powerful book titled 10 Reasons to Own Gold, discussing costs, benefits, risks, featuring full-color illustrations, weights, and measures. The book is free and can be yours by calling 800-686-2237. Paper investments are dwarfed by gold's 6,000-year history. Discover how gold may be right for you and your IRA by calling 800-686-2237. Whether buying or it's time for you to sell, the book is free. Call 800-686-2237.
Hey there, Frank Bates here. Have you heard about the weird device that could wipe out 280 million Americans? This is really scary stuff. Defense experts warn that this odd device poses the gravest threat we've ever known. In fact, just a few weeks ago, former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich wrote an op-ed piece for the Washington Post warning about this deadly threat. I can't believe that more people aren't talking about this. It may be because the liberals and the government are trying to cover it up. That's why my friend just created a free video at weirddevice.com that exposes this threat and blows the doors off the conspiracy. Go watch the shocking video at weirddevice.com right now to discover exactly what it is, plus discover the #1 way you and your family can survive this deadly attack. I'm not sure how long this video will be online, so go to weirddevice.com before it's gone forever. Again, that's weirddevice.com.
I can see for miles and miles.
Yeah, magically, these school shootings just started right as Obama isn't facing re-election, right as he says he'll use executive orders. And And if you look at the shootings out in Aurora, definitely had government involvement. The guy was paid under a DARPA program that was in mind control, and that's back of the paper. I mean, you can't make this up. I mean, Operation Northwoods, U.S. government called for staging shootings in movie theaters and on the streets to blame their political enemies. Operation Gladio, declassified. Our government did it all over Europe. We know about it because the Italian government declassified. They worked with NATO and the U.S. government shooting up schools and things to blame political groups they didn't like. It happened in every major European country. They're running Gladio, in my historical researched opinion. And now, if this isn't gang-related in Bakersfield, and my God, they could start announcing dozens of dead, just like last time where they said it was 1 or 2, and then it was, you know, 2 shot right now. I pray to God this isn't. But either way, it's they're hyping it, they're advertising, school shooting, school shooting, school shooting, school shooting. They know with copycats that when they do TV shows about young girls cutting themselves, suddenly more girls cut themselves, and then more cut themselves, and then more. When they did death education in public schools starting in 1990, suicide increased. Teaching 10 and 11 and 12-year-olds how to commit suicide, they never even thought of that. It's like an option. You see, when they started advertising death by cop, people started going out and pulling more guns on cops to get killed. It's called advertising. If people ran $1 million of advertising on a local TV station saying it's fun to go to the corner of Washington and Liberty and beat yourself in the head with a hammer, there would be people that went to that corner and beat themselves in the head with a hammer. There are some people that suggestible. Most of us aren't like that. When somebody jumps off a major building, the police always station people there for the next 3 days because somebody always shows up. And the police in the old days would call up the media and say, please stop reporting on this. When we had real terrorism in the 60s and 70s, they had policies where they did not report on it at one time. Because when you report on it, it causes more of it. Gerald, I know I'm ranting and I've got you on here to talk. We're going to play some clips coming up of Ron Paul and move into other issues that are very important. But, I mean, the way they're hyping school shootings as just as an epidemic, it's going to cause copycats to go in there and do this. They know exactly what they're doing. I mean, I went and took a few courses in media theory at a community college, and they talked about this. I mean, certainly the masters running the media know what they're doing.
I agree with you 100%. It's advertising. And if this was buried on the back pages of the New York Times, these incidents, rather than promoting them, they would have a very different impact. For example, they just killed, quote, 10 militants over there in Pakistan. That's not a front page story. It's a tiny little thing. If it was a front page story, Obama sends more drones to kill people that have been tried, never went to court, never were charged with anything against the Geneva Conventions, and kept doing it over and over again, it would become news. So I agree with you. As we were going out of the break, and I'm talking about what's happening to the country on a broader level and the breakdown of the culture and all these people on psychotropic drugs, new study just came out. America, USA, we're number one. Guess what? New study just came out. We're in infant mortality. Yeah, we're near number 1.
And narcissism.
Narcissism, oh yeah, but the other one was, out of the top 17 nations, we rank last in longevity, and we're ranking last in as far as people being healthy of mind and body. So and by the way, I was just thinking, any legislation that is being passed now what they say to stop this crisis from continuing, I want to see studies being done on it. I want to see studies being done that what they're proposing is in fact going to work, rather than them stealing my money, hiring a bunch of their flunky friends to make money on these new programs. Hey, remember that one they used to have in front of all the schools? Dare. Oh, yeah, that'll keep kids away with drugs. Who are the people making money behind that? So what I'm saying, Alex, before any new legislation is passed, there should be cost-benefit analyses done as to if this is going to work, how it's going to work, and what it's going to cost. And your point that you keep making, do not stop making it, They are advertising this. They are promoting it. It's what prostitutes do. They're standing out there and they're hawking it like any good prostitute would do. So they are creating the culture.
Long segment coming up with Gerald Celente. The Drudge Report had this up yesterday, but I'm going to cover it after Gerald leaves us. It's the most powerful article I've ever read on the Second Amendment. Americans, never give up your guns, from Pravda, from Russia. And it is powerful, ladies and gentlemen. It's still actually up at drudgereport.com in the middle column. We've reposted it at Infowars.com. And here's the bad news. Biden has just announced they're going to confiscate all guns that aren't registered. So that's coming up.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Looking back on 2012, we ask ourselves, how did we ever survive from natural disasters like Hurricane Sandy and the devastating summer drought to the family hardships brought on by a disastrous economy? Our hearts go out to those that have lost everything. At eFoods Direct, we hear from customers every day that are fortunate enough to weather life's storm by having a supply of food on hand. After Hurricane Sandy, Danny from New York City wrote, "Almost all of the grocery stores are closed, but I managed to get my eFoods just in time to be able to help my sister and niece. It is better to be prepared 10 years too early than one day too late. I can warn you, but I can't feed you. Heed the warnings and do what Alex has done. Call 800-409-5633 today or go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex and build your food supply. It's the best tasting, non-GMO, long-term storable food on the planet. Call 800-409-5633 or efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can bet your life on eFoods Direct.
Millions of people are going to get sick this winter from colds, flu, and other illnesses. Don't be one of them. Protect yourself with Supernatural Silver, a revolutionary new broad-spectrum antibacterial solution. Recent advances in silver technology have resulted in a silver solution that can be used daily to prevent bacteria, viruses, mold, and food poisoning, and help improve wound healing. Supernatural Silver is safe enough to consume every day, while powerful enough to destroy the causes of many serious diseases, such as strep, staph, pneumonia, colds, flus, and other harmful pathogens. This new technology has the ability to terminate entire colonies of harmful bacteria at several hundred times the effectiveness of colloidal or ionic silver solutions. The Science Digest journal says silver is our mightiest germ fighter. It is virtually non-toxic and is emerging as a wonder of modern medicine. Go to supernaturalsilver.com today and use the promo code SILVER2012 for 20% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com, and like us on Facebook.
If you want an American company with American products made by Americans, here is the Cal Ben Soap Company. Alex and his staff have used these pure soap products for years. These all-natural soaps are made from the highest quality vegetable and coconut oils that are earth-friendly and safe. See them on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091 for a free catalog. Buy the 1 to 2 month sample package and enjoy soaps that are twice as good as what you're using now. Or save big with a 1 to 2 year supply of soaps for all your cleaning needs. This is an amazing deal. You can save thousands of dollars and you will love the way real soap makes you feel. See them on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091 for a free catalog.
From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
We are all in the arena doing the best job we can to fight the globalist. Depending on how you look at it, I probably could have done a better job on Piers Morgan. I'll say this, if they ever let me back on there, I will try to show the opposite side and be very, very calm. Maybe take 5 or 6 Valiums beforehand. I'm joking, I've never even taken Valium, but I'm told that's what people take to calm down. But I was just angry. I'm sick of the lies. I know they're opportunistically trying to disarm us. They could care less about 1 million dead Iraqis in the Lancet Journal estimate. They could care less about hundreds of dead kids a year. When they kill innocent people, they just call it collateral damage. They could care less about Fast and Furious, thousands of dead people, that this White House shipped guns into Mexico. Their own memos came out to blame the Second Amendment. And it makes me mad. And I'm just sick of everyone kissing their butts. You know, Larry Pratt went on there and destroyed him last night. We'll play it last hour, but he won't make the news anywhere. Listen, they're not having me back on other shows because they know it's breaking people out of their spell. Sure, they're going to spin it and say, oh, look, this guy discredits gun owners, because that's one angle. And with some people it will. But the overall thing, it scares them for the sleeping giant to awaken. Trendsresearch.com is Gerald's excellent site. We'll go to that and talk about some of the new trends coming out after we finish up with guns here in a moment with Gerald Celente. But first, I wanted to get his take on Ron Paul. I brought up my quote of, you're going to trigger a new 1776, which I don't want physically. Gerald and I have talked about a velvet cultural revolution of liberty versus their cultural revolution of tyranny, a culture of Americana, quality. We're going to talk some about that. I'm clear. I don't want violence. Believe me, I'm one of the first they're going to go after. But that's why I'm like, don't come for the guns. It will cause it. And Piers is like, and like after the show, they're like, he wants a violent revolution. You idiots don't get it. You're going to trigger it. You're going to draw first blood. You're going to push it and push it and push it and push it and push it. And I brought this up, and Ron Paul said, well, I haven't used those words, but I say this is the line in the sand. This could cause a revolution. Here's Ron Paul. So you think I was right then telling Piers Morgan if they try to confiscate the guns, it will start 1776 Part 2?
Well, I don't know whether I put them in the same words, but I think I said something very similar to what you're saying.
Well, God bless you, sir. I hope we can get you back again in a month.
Very good.
What are any other websites that are important to plug? Just campaignforliberty.org?
Do that, and then we'll be listing some new things there because we're making some other web page. I'm going to have a home page. Unfortunately, I didn't have ronpaul.com, so I'm going to have ronpaulshomepage.com. That'll be coming up, but it's not ready yet.
All right, big announcements coming soon. We'll talk to you and say hi to the family. God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Great to talk to that man during this dark time. I told you, executive, they're getting us ready to see if we'll take it. Ladies and gentlemen, this could be it. All right, there is that clip with the audio off, but it doesn't matter for radio listeners. I have the news here, BakersfieldNow.com. Bakersfield school officials take part in shooting survival training. This is January 9th. They just had a drill at the school. Now, whether that copycats did the shooting now there, or whether that's used as a cover, we know in Northwoods and other documents, they use drills as the cover for the real shooters. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, they're so confident. I believe they're staging and provocateuring these, and you're going to see a bunch more shootings. That's why they're so confident, and why he's told fundraisers Biden will get the guns by the end of January, and they're training local police federally for forced gun confiscation. And Biden hints at outlawing unregulated private guns and saying that you can't have guns that aren't registered. Well, that's what Dianne Feinstein's bill says. Gerald, let me ask you the question here. Because it's very, very important. Again, I don't want a violent revolution, but I'm not going to a FEMA camp either. So defensively, we have a right to protect ourselves and a duty. What do you think is going to happen if they physically start trying to confiscate all the semi-autos, as Feinstein's bill says, and if they go out and start SWAT teaming people and calling them terrorists who don't turn them in? What do you think, as a trends forecaster who's been so accurate, what do you think is going to come out of that?
You'll see the same kind of thing that happened during the Prohibition. And it'll be another industry that the government creates. It'll accomplish nothing, and it'll be a failure. I mean, when you just read that statement by Biden, were you reading that out of a comic book? They're going to confiscate all unregistered guns? I mean, come on. Where are you going to find them? In the unregistered gun dump? I mean, it's an oxymoron. How are you going to confiscate unregistered guns? They're losers. Everything they turn to failure. And going back for a moment, by the way, on two things. One on the Piers Morgan show about the revolution. I believe there's going to be a revolution, but I've come up with something very different. And we're going to be announcing it within a few days, and I want to be on your show to talk about it more. Gerald Celente's 4 Rules of Peace. That's right. Am I in favor of guns? You bet. Do I own them? You bet I do. If I'm going to have some crazy person blowing through my place like that woman did who was protecting her children in the attic, where was it, in Georgia, and shot the intruder as the intruder was going to shoot her, I want to have the wherewithal to protect myself. If I see society breaking down, let's say what happens, a nuclear power plant goes berserk and people turn into animals and they try behaving like deranged, rabid animals, I want to have a weapon to protect myself.
No kidding. Exactly. As portions of the population degenerate because they don't know how to work, everything's always been given to them, first by their parents, then by the culture, plus the jobs are shipped overseas. As all of this is happening, we have a right, a duty, a responsibility.
Of course. You know, and the other thing, Alex, when they made, after you went off the air and they sandbagged you there, with that guy Dershowitz, they were talking about, oh, he's making this New World Order. I want to make this clear to everybody. The New World Order is not a conspiracy theory. It's a fact, and I could prove it. The New World Order is the banking order. That's right. They are the ones responsible for so much of what's going on in society today. I could pick up a piece, and we'll take it in the break. I'll get my assistant to get it, from the CEO of UBS, saying how arrogant they were and how they shouldn't have been so greedy, in nice white shoe boy language. You look what's going on over in Europe. Instead of them reporting on all of the prostitute news that they do, they're not talking about the horrors that people are living through in Portugal, in Spain, in Greece. The people are taking to the streets. You say, Alex, that can this be a tipping point? I don't know what the tipping point is, because the tipping point, they never see it. They will continue to rape us until their sickest desires have not been fulfilled in one area, as when raping us of our constitutional rights, and then they'll do something else. They never learn. Look, have they learned from Vietnam? Did they learn from Iraq? Have they learned from Afghanistan? No. I got it. Let's open up 35 new bases in Africa. Oh, yeah, we'll come up with a name for it. They never learn.
You're right. And they know, though, they have learned something from history, that people will resist them later. So they're buying 1.6 billion bullets. They're digging in. They're militarizing. They're surveilling. They're calling peaceful protest terrorism publicly. They're demonizing the entire Bill of Rights and Constitution. Meanwhile, they are erecting all these new taxes. Now, you originally were going to come back on this week, and we appreciate you doing that because I know you're a busy guy, to get into the big trends coming up that we didn't have time to get to last week. Let's shift gears out of the guns now. And this Bakersfield thing looks bad. Another shooting at a school, a government training center, and they had a drill there 2 days ago of a mass shooting at the school, practicing taking the kids to the sports stadium, and they've actually done that now. This again, just absolutely programs the youngsters to think about this, and that this is an option. You know, if they lose their girlfriend, or they put them on Prozac, and they don't know what their name is, well, get a gun and go. I mean, this is unbelievable. But Gerald, shifting out of the guns now, because you offered, you said I can come back and finish because we're out of time. All the big trends that are coming up, other than the disarmament. I mean, that's one of them. Why are they pushing so hard to disarm us right now? Because they know. I was reading with the Chinese government starting to hoard food and weapons for itself against the population. Governments everywhere are digging in. How does this tie into it?
That's exactly it. And that's exactly what we're writing about. There's an economic collapse going on worldwide. They know. You pick up today's New York Times, or yesterday's, one of the days, one of the members of the Federal Reserve Board from Virginia, saying that all of this quantitative easing is not going to solve anything. They know that the game is going to end. And you know my saying, When people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. And I firmly believe that with the National Defense Authorization Act, with the wiretapping, with all of the surveillance going on, as you pointed out, what they did with the Occupy movements, with the FBI, the CIA, the NIA, all of them watching everything that we do, I'm not a conspiracy crazy. I'm seeing it as I'm watching the world collapse around us, and I'm saying they're preparing for the collapse here. And so they want to have it so that they can control us, again, just like they infiltrated the Occupy movement and every other movement. They're going to do it again because we're going through an economic collapse. Here, fact. Switzerland. I used to call them the money cockroaches of the world. They are now printing more money and at a leverage of GDP to printing money higher than any of the other countries. The new guy they got in there in Japan, Abe, the new prime minister, first thing he did, they're printing more money through the Bank of Japan. You look what's going on over in Europe with Mario Draghi, former vice chairman of the Goldman Sachs gang. What is he doing? OMT, ongoing monetary transactions, in white shoe boy language. In real language, keep printing money. Oh, gold, by the way, Alex, pop up $20 today. Why? Because they're depressing it, and if anybody doesn't think the game is rigged, then you're a moron to think that they don't rig things, because after all, didn't they rig the interest rates with LIBOR? Aren't we finding out all these inside deals that are going on? I'm making the point because it all ties together. There's an economic collapse. The only way they're keeping it going is by printing this cheap money, and in the meantime, devaluing our currency. If anybody travels out of the United States and goes to an affluent nation, your dollar isn't worth a dime, ladies and gentlemen. So what's going on is that this is part of the greater collapse. And then you start putting the other pieces together. Hey, drought conditions going on. Can't bring barges down the Mississippi. Food prices going up. Oh, shortages. Hey, over there in Brazil, big problem. Can't get any hydroelectricity. Why not? Things are drying up. Don't have the water. So you keep putting this all together. The government, the nation, is too big to operate from a central location. What I would like to see as part of the next revolution is secession. I don't want a gang of 535 telling 315 million people what to do. I don't want a guy like Biden or Boner. I don't want a person like Reid or McConnell. I don't want these losers who have created nothing but misery and hardship for all of us except their friends to keep destroying the nation. And when you look at the Bill of Rights and when you listen to our founding fathers, this is the time for me for one of the big trends that we're writing about, the secession progression. You notice how they pushed that out of the news? You notice how over 1 million people signed up for it? And no one's talking about it, but it's going on in Spain. It's going on in Italy. It's going on in Scotland. It's going on over 200 countries around the world. The nation is too broken to fix, and it's too big to be operated by a mafia, a Republican and Democratic crime family. You can't reform criminals. No, you don't reform the mafia. We need a new system, and that's what I'm going for.
By the way, last week, they had kicked them out. They had indicted some of them. Remember 3-4 years ago, we were told Iceland's bankrupt. The 400,000 people of the country who are some of the wealthiest per capita in the world, they now are all bankrupted. And then it was reported by Reuters and others. Just amazing information last week. that they actually arrested them. Now, at first we were told all the debt was the Icelandic people's. It was something like $50 billion. Then they said, okay, it's only $10 billion, please pay it. Turned out 90+% was not even their own national debt. Right. It wasn't even their own socialism, which it wasn't. It was foreign British bank debt that their criminal government had signed them on to. They protested and refused the system and sabotaged it any way they could and went on strikes for a year until they took the government over, they stormed the banks, and then now they've arrested the people and they're going to prison. And the bankers are trying to do dirty tricks to them now. But the point is, at first England said, we're not going to let flights out of Iceland come here saying you're illegal. We're going to seize your citizens' bank accounts because a lot of Icelanders use British banks. So they just countersued them. The mafia of the British cartel, the biggest in the world, tried to say our debt is your debt, and the Icelanders said you can literally go to Hades. These nice, well-mannered folks actually reverted back to being Vikings. What, can't we follow the Icelandic model? Isn't it the way out? Isn't that the key?
Absolutely. Again, that is, you're going to be receiving the Trends Journal next week. Another great trend we have is the Great Awakening. There was a great awakening in this country prior to the Revolution. You read it in the works of Thomas Paine. Part of the Great Awakening, first it began as a religious revival, and people realized that their salvation was in their own hands. It wasn't from a hierarchy of a Church of England or anybody else. That you're responsible creating your own destiny, and you leave this life in the way that you choose to leave it by the deeds that you do on earth. That was the awakening. It then became a second part of it. Just as no longer genuflecting to the head of the Church
Hold on,
of
this is
England.
key. We're going to come back and get into this. That's right. And that's why they're setting up all this tyranny worldwide, as Brzezinski wrote in his new book. They know the global awakening is happening. Gerald Celente predicted it 6 years ago. Brzezinski confirmed it this year. We'll be back.
This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365.
In the U.S., 1 in every 50 homes will have a break-in this year. Burglars call it smash and grab. Police call it robbery. We call it avoidable. We are Fake TV, a simple electronic device that can fool even professional burglars. Fake TV easily plugs into any outlet and simulates the changing colors of a television. To a burglar, it looks like someone must be home watching TV, so they'll likely move on to an easier target. At only $34.95, Fake TV costs less than a month of most alarm monitoring plans. And it's perfect if you're traveling or away from home. Order your Fake TV by calling 877-5-FAKE-TV or go to faketv.com. That's 877-532-5388 or faketv.com. Fake TV, the burglar deterrent.
Hello, this is Ty Bollinger, author of the best-selling book, Cancer, Step Outside the Box. I want you to know some very important information. In 1985, President Ronald Reagan requested that Carnivora be sent directly to the White House at a time when only the president could obtain this world-class healer. Now, 27 years later, Carnivora capsules are used around the world to keep people healthy. Now you can protect yourself and your loved ones in this age of superbugs with 17 naturally occurring compounds that instinctively respond to abnormal cells only without harming a single normal cell. If you want to stay healthy, now's your chance to literally wake up your critical immune cells to attack harmful invaders that don't belong in your body. Call 1-866-VENUS-FLY or order from carnivora.com. That's carnivora.com. That's 1-866-836-8735, 1-866-VENUS-FLY, or visit carnivora.com. Protect your immune system. It's the only one you've got.
The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's the issue. We got Gerald for 2 more segments. Really appreciate him joining us. They came out and announced we're going to have an executive order, which they'd said quietly before, where we can just ban semi-autos. And people said, no way, that's unconstitutional. So then CNN, I was watching them today before the show started, back there in the coffee area, was going, it's just an executive order to use existing laws, but it's how we implement them. This isn't unconstitutional. Don't be paranoid. And they played a clip of Limbaugh saying this is a tyrannical takeover. And I saw another newscast criticizing Drudge for putting Hitler and Stalin up there. Well, they used executive action to take guns. That's what this is. See, they're always, don't be radical, don't be radical. They're the ones that are radical. And we've got to rise to their radicalness with our base rock common sense and say no. Now, Gerald Celente is covering something here of the utmost importance, and it is so important for you to support Infowars.com, to buy the books, the videos, the magazines, the Pro Pure water filters that blow the competition away, fluoride filters, all of it, Infowarshop.com. I haven't even plugged that today. To go there, to buy the Pro Gun T-shirts, the Infowars T-shirts, to meet like-minded people, to go to trendsresearch.com and subscribe there as well, because even if you think you know all this, this is the type of magazine, color magazine, with great graphics and everything that you want to give people, executives, teachers, preachers, police chiefs, that can really wake them up. You can also sign up for the free trends alerts there at trendsresearch.com. But now is the time to support those of us. And that's why I wish Glenn Beck wasn't attacking me and folks, because I want to work with everybody, okay, who wants basic liberty. Left, right, center, libertarian. If you want basic Bill of Rights and Constitution, and if you realize we've been hijacked by foreign mega banks, I'm your friend. I want to work with everybody. None of us are perfect. All of us can be armchair quarterbacks. But we better financially support Infowars.com. We better support Gerald Celente and his Trends Research. You better spread the word about these broadcasts in the local AM and FMs, because they won't always be here if you don't support. Now is the time. Gerald, get back into your Great Awakening.
Yes, and then after the religious part, that people understood that their salvation was in their own hands, in their own mind and spirit, then it became as well, we're not going to genuflect to the crown either. These people do not have a royal bloodline. They have not been ordained by God to rule us. And that's the works of the Thomas Paines and others, that the people revolted against the tyranny of the nobility. Well, guess what, Alex? It's the Great Awakening 2.0. They don't ride around in their coaches and knock everybody over like they used to when the royalty arrived. Now they have their SUVs, their motorcades. They close down the airspace, close down the highways. Every one of these creeps, now they have their jumbo jets. That's their new coaches, and they salute to the serfs down below. They wave. It's a new royalty. It's the royalty that Mark Twain so despised. It's the royalty that Jefferson wrote in his letters, how disgusting and how deranged and immoral they were when he was over in Europe. We have a new royalty. They are our senators. They are our congressmen, and our kings and queens have become the presidents and prime ministers who, by royal edict, our executive order, will tell the rest of us serfs what to do and how we should obey them, because if we don't, they have the goon squads to make sure that they do.
Unbelievable. Stay there.
You are listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
The new year is a great time to take charge of your health and wellness. Get serious and make a stand with Supernatural Silver. This is a breakthrough in silver technology that is several hundred times more effective than colloidal or ionic silver. Supernatural Silver can be taken orally every day to help fight bacteria, viruses, infections, yeast, and molds. Supernatural Silver is also exceptional for wound care and is highly effective for water purification. It is the #1 choice for thousands of people for immune system support, and it is also a perfect choice for your emergency preparedness. Go to supernaturalsilver.com today and give yourself and your loved ones a fighting chance. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Check out our new low prices and like us on Facebook.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Final segment with Gerald Celente. Appreciate him joining us today. We're going to come back and go through a blitzkrieg of news, clips, and then some calls. Up on screen, if you're a TV viewer, I have an image of Thomas Jefferson next to Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, and some of the other little globalist minions there. And imagine 235 plus years later, these tyrants are trying to destroy what Thomas Jefferson helped get into place. And he was the main architect, for those that don't know. They are literally still trying to get rid of something that our forebears fought with blood, sweat, and tears and a lot of work to put into place. And that's why they spend all day demonizing it. And I was just thinking about Gerald Celente, talking about the old royalty that disgusted Jefferson and others. And then here is the new royalty saying by executive decree, we'll do whatever we want. We'll spy on you. We'll kill you. We'll disappear you. We'll have the goons come after you. We are right back in that same position. And it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Gerald Celente, we got 4 minutes left. You got the floor.
And again, you are a voice of the Great Awakening. I mean, if anybody doubts it, you know, they haven't been tuning in so much. And as I am and others, Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, Ron Paul, nothing has changed. There's a new royalty. I'm not making this up. Do you ever see these people? Everywhere they go, there's red carpets and a bunch of flunkies either saluting, depending on the country you're in, or dressed up in some moronic uniform. And I'm saying to myself, who's paying for this?
And then
crap?
Obama bows to royalty.
But who's paying for this garbage? Who's paying for all of these flunkies to get dressed up in this uniform? I have a business. Get to work. What are you doing over here? You don't have to salute me when I walk in the door. Do they salute anybody? Here he comes. Roll out the red carpet. Nothing has changed. Look how they talk down to us. Look how they tell us what we must believe, why we should believe it, and how we should behave. There's a new Great Awakening. The Great Awakening 2.0 is going to precede the Second American Revolution. And again, not one of guns and armies, but one of the mind and the spirit, the heart and the soul, the dignity and the respect of the individual. Not what we should be saying and taking orders from our masters.
I agree with you. When you talk about royalty, the red carpet was for royalty. They even have the guards around them, you know, holding up standards. They're telling us we are the emperors, we are your owners, and they act just like old royal dictatorships, and they say they're above the law, they're immune, you're a slave. They twist it all, and then they take old ladies' houses. You see it in the news all the time. For some unpaid tax they can't pay, So that these guys could have, $15 billion in the bank.
Exactly, the new royalty. Here's a quote from Thomas Paine. To the evil of monarchy, we have added that of hereditary succession. Oh, yeah, one Bush, another Bush, another Bush, a Clinton, a Kennedy, a Kennedy. And as the first is the degradation and lessening of ourselves, so the second, claimed as a matter of right, is an insult and imposition on posterity. For all men being originally equals, no one by birth could have a right to set up his own family in perpetual preference to all others forever. And that's what they have done. It's their seat of power. They have become the royalty. They are in charge. They know what's best for us.
Amazing. Gerald Celente, hope to speak to you soon. Trendsresearch.com. I'm Alex Jones with Infowars.com. We'll be right back with the main radio transmission, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central every day. Find all Gerald's material and videos at his Trends Research site. We'll be back.
Now that we have moved into the winter season, there is an increased need to support our immunity and health. At Silver Lungs, we are committed to meeting your needs by providing a full selection of silver-based products. Our most popular silver-based products are the 32-ounce Nano Silver Solutions, our 2-ounce Nano Silver Nasal Applicators, as well as our all-natural silver soaps. Just released is our 100% natural silver gel. Our new silver gel is not based on synthetic gelling agents, which quickly evaporate and leave the silver at the surface. But rather, we have formulated our silver gel using the natural skin-nourishing chemistry of aloe vera to quickly penetrate and nourish the skin, while delivering the silver more effectively. Visit www.silverlungs.com and click on our store page to find what silver-based products are best for you. That's www.silverlungs.com.
Looking back on 2012, we ask ourselves, how did we ever survive from natural disasters like Hurricane Sandy and the devastating summer drought to the family hardships brought on by a disastrous economy? Our hearts go out to those that have lost everything. At eFoods Direct, we hear from customers every day that are fortunate enough to weather life's storm by having a supply of food on hand. After Hurricane Sandy, Danny from New York City wrote, almost all of the grocery stores are closed, but I managed to get my eFoods just in time to be able to help my sister and niece. It is better to be prepared 10 years too early than one day too late. I can warn you, but I can't feed you. Heed the warnings and do what Alex has done. Call 800-409-5633 today or go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex and build your food supply. It's the best tasting, non-GMO, long-term storable food on the planet. Call 800-409-5633 or efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can bet your life on eFoods Direct.
Alex Jones here with a message to fellow freedom lovers. The prognosis for the entire planetary economic system runs from bad to worse. The globalist model is to shut down societies and starve patriots out until they acquiesce to the global takeover. That's why we've assembled the most vital and important preparedness items at InfoWarsShop.com. These are items that I did research on, that I personally use. We've got the Life Straw, so you can turn fetid water into safe water anywhere you go. The K-Tor hand crank generator to charge up key equipment during power outages or out in the field. Strategic Relocation, 3rd edition by Joel Skousen. When Disaster Strikes by Matthew Stein. ThyroSafe, used by Homeland Security to protect yourself during any radiological event. Hand crank shortwave AM/FM radios. Everything that we've researched and found to be the best is available at InfoWarsShop.com, and your purchase makes our InfoWar possible. We're getting prepared. Are you? InfoWarsShop.com.
Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
I know you deceived me, now here's a surprise. I know that you have, 'cause there's magic in my eyes. I can see for miles and miles.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live here today on this Thursday worldwide transmission. And I want to go through the different laundry list of clips that we have here today. In fact, guys, I had my list. Here it is. I want to first give out the number. If you heard Doug Hagmann on earlier from Northeast Intelligence Network, or you just heard Gerald Celente on the broadcast, or you want to give your take on them saying they want to use executive orders to take our firearms, that's the issues we're mainly talking about. Or the Democrats are proposing even more tax increases now that they just got the other tax increases through. And this is how it works. Once they get you to the cliff, they start raising taxes once a year. Then it's 3 times a year. Then it's 10 times a year. And then you're paying 80% to 90% is the IMF World Bank model of everything you do in different taxes. And the streets aren't fixed. Sewage is everywhere. But almost all your money goes to the government. And you're like, yeah, but their tax receipts go down when they do that. They don't care. In fact, they want to make you poor. And so McClatchy newspaper is reporting that. There's a really creepy article. Could Alex Jones' revolution actually happen? Out of Yahoo News. And it goes on to admit the government's arming against us and building up, and that it's creepy, and that if they try to take the guns, there may be a revolution. But it also tries to discredit me. Look, it's not Alex Jones's revolution. I know a few months ago I said, get ready, this is it. They're coming after us. They're saying they're going to use executive orders to take all our liberties. I can tell by their bearing and the propaganda and all these new shows coming out on ABC, NBC, CBS that the fix was in for Obama and that they are going to demonize gun owners. I mean, they don't have 4 new shows on broadcast TV and then a couple I know of on cable that are now out or coming out where gun owners are terrorists and the U.S. Army hunts them down and infiltrates them. And it puts them in situations where the gun owners are always bad guys. It follows total Homeland Security scripting where they say gun owners, veterans, returning vets, libertarians, conservatives are the enemy. And then they're training, the real trainings for this war going on for a decade, even before Obama got in. And now they're just going public with it. And so, I mean, you'd be a fool if you didn't know they're not spending, let's be conservative, 50, 60 billion a year for this domestic takeover and buying 1.6 billion bullets and deploying armored vehicles in every area and creating dissident lists because they're not going to come after us. They're going to hammer down. I mean, it's horrible. I wish this wasn't the case. And they mean to break this country. They mean to bring this country completely down. And I just pray to God to open the eyes of this country. I pray to God to open the eyes of police and military, which is starting to happen. But they select goons out of these forces and put them into these special thug units. And I've looked in their eyes. They really can't wait to hunt us down. And good luck. I mean, you may get the first few of us, people like me. But, man, all you're doing is just really signing up for something bad. And not just on this plane. Going after people that really do love liberty and are good guys is bad mojo. Reap what you sow, karma, whatever you want to call it. And this is really bad. This is the worst scenario I could imagine. And it's not a game. It's not about entertainment. It's not about, it's time to get freaked out. You know, Glenn Beck a few days ago said, I'm spooky, I'm scary, I'm dangerous. No, I'm covering the spookiness and the dangerousness that's already there, bud. You know, the time of wearing designer sweaters and being a cutesy and being into being a rich guy, it's over. Look, you either leave the United States and try to run to where rich people live if you're rich and just hope they don't get you later, or you stand and you get the word out now. Okay, because if we wait till they blow up some federal buildings and blame us, we're in deep trouble. And I can tell you, I see all the signs. That's like I told you back days after Obama got elected. I call for the second American Revolution, a restoration. And there are a lot of revolutions. Most of them aren't physical. I said before the establishment gets physical, we have got to just absolutely overwhelm them and let them know we're on the watch and that this isn't going to work. And that means not letting those of us on the tip of the spear be intimidated. All of you that have a platform have got to turbocharge. You know, I got to give credit again. DrudgeReport.com yesterday showed Hitler and Stalin and said Obama is trying to become a dictator with executive orders. And look, if you have an executive order, I want to play the Ron Paul clip here in a moment, the HD one we now have, talking about the martial law. It's the first clip we're going to play, or the line in the sand. You know, Ron Paul's like, well, it is dictatorial and it's going in a dictatorial direction, but Obama was elected, yeah, through fraud. Doesn't matter. Hitler was elected. I actually disagreed with Ron Paul only slightly. He said, well, we're going in the direction of a dictatorship. No, we're not. And I know he understands. He's real smart. He knows the public doesn't get that. They think as long as you're elected, you're not a dictator. If you got elected and overthrew your office and did things outside of the office, like saying the UN's over our military and I can sign executive orders and take your guns, that is dictator. Hitler was elected. A lot of dictators. Hugo Chavez was elected. And there was pure fraud. The guy has not been reelected. Fidel Castro was popular at first. This guy's still a dictator. The point is, Hitler was elected, and Ron Paul said, well, we're going in the direction of a dictatorship. No, the office of the president is becoming dictatorial. That is true. And it is going into dictator territory, and then it goes the rest of the way very, very quickly. But Ron Paul said, when I said, is 1776 not about to happen again? Won't that be the line in the sand out of 100+ million gun owners? Won't there be 1% that stands up or more? That's 1 million people fighting back. Well, and he goes, yes, I've always said that's the line in the sand. That's what's going to kick this off. I mean, I'm not saying, hey, Piers Morgan, there's going to be 1776. We're coming to get you. I'm saying do not hit the red button, buddy. Just like Larry Pratt told him last night. We're going to play that clip. He said, listen, I would tell Obama, don't make the mistake King George III made. Don't come for the guns. It will happen. And Larry Pratt said, oh, so you're for revolution. Piers Morgan said that to Larry Pratt. Larry Pratt said, listen, I'm telling you what's going to happen. It's like, don't run out on I-35 with 80-mile-an-hour 18-wheelers back-to-back going down it. Don't just stand there when one drives by and jump out in front of it and think you're not going to get run over. What, are you going to run me over? What, are you threatening me? No, idiot. Listen, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do it. Don't do it. 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. And it's not that people are like, well, Alex, I know, bad times are coming. We're going to just have to turn the guns in. We know it's tyranny. We'll have to bide our time. Look, Biden, our time's over. They're getting ready to raise taxes again and again and again. And you're like, well, that'll bankrupt things. That's the plan, Jack. There's got to be a time. People are like, well, this is scary. I'm not the one making it scary, Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh. I'm not the one making it scary. They did. They did it. Okay, I'm following the Bill of Rights, Constitution. The globalists call us counter-revolutionaries. They're involved in the revolutionary change. They're the ones coming in doing this. They're the ones bringing in globalism. And excuse me, I am an honorable person trying to do the best job I can, pouring out my very substance to really historically try to do the right thing and back these people off. Because, again, I'll be honest with you, if they were just a corrupt group that wanted to run stuff, I'd still be criticizing them and fighting them. Everybody has this feeling of unease. Everybody says, yeah, Alex, we agreed things, we knew they would get bad, and now it's happening. Because God's warning you, folks. These are nasty mass takeover, FEMA camp, re-educator, total takeover types. And it's all on record. But the mainline conservative talk show hosts all attack me and say that isn't true when it's all on record. The Army manuals, the FEMA camps, the Emergency Centers Establishment Acts, I'm giving you names of things that are public. Let's go to the Ron Paul clip. Here it is, 800-25. So you think I was right then telling Piers Morgan if they try to confiscate the guns, it will just stop it. We're going to go to the clip here in a moment. I just want to give the number out. It's 800-259-9231. Sorry, guys. I said go to it and then sort of give the number out. Let's go back to the clip now. Here it is. So you think I was right then telling Piers Morgan if they try to confiscate the guns, it will start 1776 Part 2?
Well, I don't know whether I put them in the same words, but I think I said something very similar to what you're saying.
Well, God bless you, sir. I hope we can get you back again in a month.
Very good.
What are any other websites that are important to plug? Just campaignforliberty.org. That's the short clip. And there's a full clip right before that we should probably air on the nightly news tonight. The full clip's up at Infowars.com. Where he talked about the line in the sand being the guns. So there's a full part. Okay, so we're going to play that later once we find that because it's so important. Sure, we'll go ahead and play it now. Go ahead. Sir, will you turn in your semi-autos?
Well, I might not even have anything to turn in for that purpose, but I don't think the American people will. I've always assumed that the line in the sand may well be drawn If the federal agent marches in unannounced and they say, well, give me your gun and give me your gold, I don't think we'll do that, calmly. I think the American people will highly resent it and resist.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't a game. We've got radical Marxists hired by foreign banks. By the way, it is the most incredible article I've ever read, and I will read this after I take some calls. This Pravda article that we've posted in full, and Pravda used to be the total Soviet mouthpiece. Now it's the opposite. Pravda used to be known as a joke of lying media. And it comes out and says, the banks that have hijacked your country put Stalin, first Lenin in here, and took our guns. We were just like you. We all had rifles and shotguns, and we fought back. We were the White Russians, and they killed us. And Pravda says, the same banks. I actually got tears in my eyes reading it this morning. I saw it yesterday and didn't read it. And I know the history's true, and here are the Russians saying you're run by big banks. They're going to take your guns. They're going to kill you. Your banks did this to us in 1917. America, watch out. They're going to put you in camps. They're going to kill you. I mean, it is incredible information. I'm going to read this on air. It is so incredible.
Hello, I'm Alex Jones. Myself, my family, the Infowars.com team want to relay to you and your families that we are intensifying our efforts against the globalist on every front. Infowars.com is leading the fight against the technocrats. But we can't do that without your help. By getting the films, bumper stickers, and T-shirts at Infowars.com, you will wake up people in your area and support our operation as we move to the next level. We need your help to spread the word like never before. They wish to hide themselves during this tectonic battle between the forces of freedom and darkness. You are the response to the globalist technocrats and their program of global eugenics, dehumanization, and ultimate extermination. The war is here. It's an info war. The spirit of 1776 versus the mindset of 1984.
My name is Stephen Hewer. After 22 years of nutritional counseling, I've observed that most brain malfunctions have at their roots some form of toxicity and brain damage. So whether it is poor memory, poor focus, lack of creative thinking, or more serious matters like inability to focus, speak normally, or remember things, the emphasis to getting one's brain working optimally needs to be on detoxification. One World Way supports your body's #1 means of detoxification, which is glutathione production.
My name is Angie, and my son has suffered from borderline autism and constipation. I got him on One World Way, and in 2 months, his constipation is gone. He has become friendlier. He can carry on a normal conversation with me, and he has made his first friend. He's doing great, and he looks forward to taking One World Way every day. You could offer him a present or a cake, and he would prefer the One World Way.
Go to oneworldway.com. That's oneworld.com, or call 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325.
HempUSA.org has a newly designed website and a new and improved detoxification product. Order our new microplant powder gold loaded with vitamins, minerals, iodine, and probiotics, and we'll send you our travel-size microplant powder absolutely free. Microplant powder only at HempUSA.org. Call 908-691-2608. That's 908-691-2608. And see what our powder, seeds, and oil can do for you only at HempUSA.org. Only this offer ends January 31st.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
Hi there. My name is Frank Bates. What I'm about to tell you in the next 60 seconds could get me in a lot of trouble. I just created a free video presentation at 123coverup.com that exposes the electricity monopolies and government agencies for what they really are: incompetent, lying crooks that are counting on your ignorance and fear to keep your power bills criminally high. Some have called this a conspiracy. Others have called it a cover-up, and you will be shocked to find out how deep the conspiracy goes. My video at 123coverup.com exposes the truth and shows you the secret of how I beat them and how you can beat them too. Watch the controversial video that thousands of other smart patriots have already seen in the last 3 months. Go to 123coverup.com and discover one weird trick to slash your power bill and protect your home. Go watch my video now at 123coverup.com before they force me to shut it down. Again, that's 123coverup.com.
I want to say something to everybody. I want to thank those of you that have prayed for us. I want to thank those of you that have supported us. I want to thank all of you that have put up with me over the years, because, you know, in your discernment, I'm just doing the best job I can. And I don't think I always have the answers. In fact, I know I don't. I make a lot of mistakes. And I'm just fighting as hard as I can. And that's all I can do. That's all I can do. And I get very angry at the globalists because I know who they are. And I, at a selfish level, am very mad that it's in my blood and that I can't help but resist them. I mean, I've tried to think about before backing off, and it just feels so horrible that I just can't do it. And then I realize things are just going to get worse, and then I get really angry because I'm not backing off. My ancestors didn't back down. I'm not backing down. And the only reason we've had wealth and liberty and freedom and lived the longest and had the most money and was because our ancestors were meaner than rattlesnakes and a grizzly bear. And acting like a bunch of sheep, you're going to have wolves come. And that's all I can say. I mean, we act like a bunch of cowards and bow down to government like it's royalty. We're going to get treated like slaves. And that's why I'm so angry. Is because I realize I've been right about all this and then some, and it really is upsetting. I know why people want to think things aren't as bad as I say, because then you'd have to do something about it, wouldn't you? And I know there's a lot of you out there doing a lot, and you can't get through to me, and you try to call, and whatever, and you get mad at me because you've got an idea that would fix everything. Look, I'm totally overwhelmed. Okay, I can't do it all. And I try to take time off. I try to rest. I try to not get angry. And I probably need to take a vacation, I'll be honest with people, because I never take off. You know, any race car's got to pull over and get its oil changed and get new tires on it and stuff. I'm only a human. But I do appreciate all the prayers and things. But, you know, I've told you I feel this quickening coming and see it building the last few months, and now you see it all happening. My gut now, it's 10 times what it was a week ago. It's just, man, we're in trouble. And I just want to turn things around. I just don't want us to be taken over by pure authoritarians. You know, Jacobson just gave me an article about searches, the Examiner reports, as liberals propose gun control, Google searches on Hitler gun control spike to one of the top searches yesterday because Drudge told it like it was. When I saw this yesterday, I said, that's the spirit. Putting Stalin and Hitler up there where Obama was talking about using executive orders to take our guns. Why is that so powerful? Because you've got to be radical in the face of their radicalism. You've got to tell them where this is leading. Because they are radicals. And they tell us, oh, don't be radical. Don't be radical. That discredits you. No, you're the radicals. And extremism in defense of liberty is no vice, as Barry Goldwater said. Laying down to tyranny is not golden. It's yellow. Silence isn't golden. It's yellow. Like somebody peeing their pants. That's what cowards do. When they get real scared, they fall down, don't hurt me, and pee on themselves. I'm not going to do that, man. I don't know how to do that. Let's go to phone calls. I'll come back in the break and take more. Let's talk to Glenn in Michigan. Glenn, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Alex,
hey,
what
buddy.
a privilege to be on the phone with you. You can count on our prayers up here in Michigan. And I just want to tell you, I want to encourage you. What you're going through and what's happened reminds me so much of what happened, a situation with a family member of mine over Thanksgiving. And I'm a little nervous. Sorry, Alex. But I'm a reluctantly confrontational person. I've had to confront a member of my family that I love so much, an alcoholic. And I prayed about what to say, and to be honest with you, God gave me words to say to him, but it came out very brutal. And really wrecked our Thanksgiving, if you want to say that. The family was mad at me, but that guy has given his life to Christ, and he hasn't had a drink since.
Absolutely, you did an intervention instead of watching your brother or whoever it was drink themselves to death. It was like an intervention with Piers Morgan. They were crying. None of the national TVs invited me on. They're totally freaked out because they all know it's about enslavement. And I'm like, look, you don't care about these kids. You want tyranny. Watch it. You're on notice. And that scared a lot of mainline conservatives because they all deep down know where this is headed. Hey, folks, only admitting how real it is going to save us. I hope everybody gets that.
My pastor has told me for years, when you speak the truth to somebody and confront them, it's like holding up a mirror to them and showing them what they're like. And it shocks them.
I agree with you. God bless you, brother. I got to jump. We got more calls coming up. But you're right. No, I mean, that's a lot of people say that. It's like an intervention. It was shocking. A lot of people didn't like it because they are in trances. Folks, you need to get angry. That's the beginning, like Howard Beale says in Network. First, you've got to get mad.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Millions of people are going to get sick this winter from colds, flu, and other illnesses. Don't be one of them. Protect yourself with Supernatural Silver, a revolutionary new broad-spectrum antibacterial solution. Recent advances in silver technology have resulted in a silver solution that can be used daily to prevent bacteria, viruses, mold, and food poisoning, and help improve wound healing. Supernatural Silver is safe enough to consume every day, while powerful enough to destroy the causes of many serious diseases, such as strep, staph, pneumonia, colds, flus, and other harmful pathogens. This new technology has the ability to terminate entire colonies of harmful bacteria at several hundred times the effectiveness of colloidal or ionic silver solutions. The Science Digest Journal says silver is our mightiest germ fighter. It is virtually non-toxic and is emerging as a wonder of modern medicine. Go to supernaturalsilver.com today and use the promo code SILVER2012 for 20% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com, and like us on Facebook.
The new year is a great time to take charge of your health and wellness. Get serious and make a stand with Supernatural Silver. This is a breakthrough in silver technology that is several hundred times more effective than colloidal or ionic silver. Supernatural Silver can be taken orally every day to help fight bacteria, viruses, infections, yeast, and molds. Supernatural Silver is also exceptional for wound care and is highly effective for water purification. It is the #1 choice for thousands of people for immune system support, and it is also a perfect choice for your emergency preparedness. Go to supernaturalsilver.com today and give yourself and your loved ones a fighting chance. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Check out our new low prices and like us on Facebook.
You may be arrested and or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship. Body scanners, sound cannons, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or see it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe. Our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value. I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I want you to get up right now. Get up, go to your windows, open them, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
That's right. I'm your host, Alex Jones. We'll get to your calls. I'll link to this Pravda article. We have some more clips that I want to play right now. But that's why they're so scared. And that's why they're trying to say, oh, that's a losing tactic to get angry. Because I'm not here to make you love me. I'm here to get you to realize you're being usurped. I mean, they are cold-bloodedly hammering these dead kids' deaths to get our guns to enslave us. They're going to come and take our guns. They're going to raise our taxes again and again. They're going to reduce us to absolute despotism. They're going to eat out our substance. The power to tax is the power to destroy. I'm angry about that. I don't want to have to flee the United States. There's nowhere to run. I know who these people are. And we're never going to get out of this if we don't get angry about it. And to all of you that have decided to serve the system, I mean, come on. You think you've picked the winning side and, oh, you know, so what? You know, we're going to have tyranny? You're idiots. Do you know what real evil is? Because you've signed on to it. And I think if you really knew what's going on and what's at the head of this thing, you would not want to be under its wings. I mean, I tell you right now. And I know a lot of you are dumber than dirt out there that support the system or you're childlike and you like to have fantasy that, you know, that Obama's your friend and the government's your friend. No, it's not. The only reason this tyranny hadn't taken over quicker is there's good people outside and inside the system. Let me read to you this Pravda article, or at least part of it, because I saw this yesterday, didn't have time to read it, read it this morning, and it just blew me away. Because I know everything in this article, in the first 5 or 6 paragraphs, is absolutely true and documented. These days, and this is written by Stanislav Mission, who, by the way, boys, you want bonuses, get me Stanislav on. With an interpreter, whatever it takes. Might speak English, a lot of the Russians do. These days, there are few things to admire about the socialist, bankrupt, and culturally degenerating USA. But at least so far, one thing remains: the right to keep and bear arms and use deadly force to defend oneself and possessions. Yeah, it's the only beachhead of liberty really left right now. And people are clinging to it, and it's actually growing the movement and awakening. And they hate the statistics that areas that have guns have lower crime rates. They hate that. If they don't kill our gun movement, it's over, okay? I don't need their supercomputers to look into the future. I can historically, culturally, and with the brain God gave me, look forward. And, of course, they even say now what I've said, that they've got to nip us in the bud. You don't get, you've already lost, globalist. This is not going to be like Russia. This will not be like China. This will not be like other areas. By the way, the Russians did give one hell of a fight. And if you don't know the history of that, the White Russians, nothing to do with white people, folks. They were all white. Some of them are Asian on the east side. The point is, they were the pro-czarist. And you can say what you wanted about the czars. It was medieval, and it was a dictatorship of royalty, but people had private property, and the poorest people could feed themselves, and they could have guns, and they were treated with respect. They starved to death more than 50 million of them, shot, killed, worked them to death in just the first few decades, and they killed another 15 million after that. And if you look at the globalist takeover model, as this article points out, it's designed just off this Stalinist, Leninist takeover. See, that's what I tried to say earlier, folks. If this was just good old boy corruption, I wouldn't be risking my life to fight them. I'd just be saying it's wrong and exposing it. I'm here desperately trying to get you to realize that even if they wipe me out, God forbid, or bad things come in the future, listen, knowing this information could stop them down the road from really bad stuff. They want to cut all the food and water off. That's what they're setting up. They want to kill millions of us. And, I mean, I've got the FBI's own, testimony where they were in there with Obama's handlers. And they were in there saying, we're going to put 50 million in forced labor camps. We're going to kill 25 million of them. I mean, this is their plan. Now they've set those up. They'll collapse things and advertise it as good, though, you have to understand. And there's all these sickos and wannabe, sadists who want to run these things. And, I mean, I'm sorry. I am not going to go in there, okay? You're going to have to pay for it. And America knows you're coming. They didn't sell 10 million guns last month, and now it's going to be on track to even more this month because people don't know. They know who you are. Their gut knows who that you are. I'm going to shut up. Let me get back to this. These days, there are a few things to admire about the socialist, bankrupt, and culturally degenerating USA. But at least so far, one thing remains, the right to bear arms and use deadly force to defend oneself and possessions. This probably comes as a total shock to most of my Western readers, but at one point, Russia was one of the most heavily armed societies on Earth. This was, of course, when we were free under the Tsar. Weapons, from swords to spears and pistols, and rifles and shotguns were everywhere. Yeah, in fact, you weren't a man unless you carried a pistol. Common items, people carried them concealed. They carried them holstered. Fighting knives were the prominent part of many traditional attires, and those little tubes, krises, crossing on the costumes of Cossacks and various Caucasian peoples. Well, those bullets were for rifles. See, that's why it's part of their dress. You always see them with the bullets on them. Various armies, such as the Poles during the times of troubles, or Napoleon, or the Germans, even as the Tsarist state collapsed under the weight of World War I and Wall Street money, found that holding Russian lands was much, much harder than taking them, and that it was no easy walk in the park, but a bloodbath on its own. That's right. That's why when the West tried to collapse Russia at the end of World War I, they couldn't do it because they had guns. And Napoleon couldn't do it. He'd beaten everybody, but he couldn't beat the Russians because their citizens would sit there and snipe you. So Western banks, on record, declassified congressional hearings in the 70s, sent $25 million in gold in with more than 10,000 New Yorkers trained with rifles with Lenin to take over. And they took over Moscow, and then our media said, Uncle Lenin has taken over. He's a great man. And then they went in and just killed everybody. But that, because it was the government. They got the central government under their control. It wasn't an open outsider. See, if you can't realize that, you can't beat these people. Various armies, such as the Poles during the times of trouble, or Napoleon, or the Germans, even as the Tsarist state collapsed under the weight of World War I and Wall Street money, found that holding Russian lands was much harder. Let me see a document cam shot of this. I'm going to show folks this article. Was much harder than taking them, and taking was no easy walk in the park, but a bloodbath all its own. In holding, one faced an extremely well-armed and aggressive population hell-bent on exterminating or driving out the aggressor. This well-armed population was what allowed the various white factions to rise up. No matter how disorganized politically or militarily they were in 1918, and waged a savage civil war against the Reds that went on for more than 15 years off and on. And that's why finally when Stalin had wiped them all out, then he killed 50 million people. Once he'd gotten full control, it took them decades to kill everybody. And they've got the same plan under Agenda 21. That's why you can't have a garden in your front yard or backyard. This is all a Russian takeover because it was a banker takeover. American money did that to the Russians. It should be noted that many of these armies were armed peasants, villagers, farmers, and merchants protecting their own. It had not been for Washington's clandestine support of the Reds, history would have gone quite differently. Just like our government funded Mao in 49, that's now declassified. He killed over 80 million people, depending on which number you look at, 60 to 80. Moscow fell, for example, not from lack of weapons to defend it, but from lying guile of the Reds. 10,000 Reds took Moscow and were opposed only by some few hundred officer cadets and their instructors. Even then, the battle was fierce and losses high. However, in the city alone at the time, it lived 30,000 military officers, both active and retired, all with their own issued weapons and ammunition, plus tens of thousands of other citizens who were armed. The Soviets promised to leave them all alone if they did not intervene. They did not, and for what we were asked afterwards to come register themselves and their weapons, where they were promptly shot. And the Russians go on to explain to them, they are murdering liars. They are about to do to you what they did to us. That's right. You study the Russian Revolution, and then you look at the Trotskyites who finally Stalin double-crossed the Lenin Trotskyites and sent them over here to Mexico and the U.S. They took over and became the neocons. Go look it up. The founder of it, Crystal's dad, was a top commie general. And they said, okay, we got kicked out over here. We're going to come over here. We're in so much trouble. They're going to follow an exact Soviet blueprint. And it's just hard to deal with. I understand why a lot of you can't believe this is happening, because it's so horrible. Folks, they want to break us forever. Okay, the Russians were just as armed as the Americans. They beat Napoleon, and they beat the Reds at first until our government sent a bunch of armed U.S. citizens over there that knew how to shoot. Army veterans and people. It's just so evil. Did you know American citizens helped take Moscow? And see, as soon as McCarthy, it's now been declassified by the Russian files, said, our army runs the Soviets. Oh, my gosh, he was destroyed, but in one day. When he was being used to just persecute liberals and people and set up a police state, see, they used the threat they created to take our rights over here as well. Just like in episode 3, the emperor becomes the emperor by staging attacks against his own bases. See, that's a child's movie explaining to you how false flag works. Now, the globalists this time are going to use Muslim extremists as the pretext to have the cover of the takeover, but then the real manuals, which are now public, are all about gun owners. The whole thing is about checkpoints, grid points, locking down the food, coming and getting our guns. I mean, they plan it. And they're going to call him Lincoln. They're not going to call him Lenin. Obama will be... You better remember the day you heard all this, because if we don't beat him politically, this is what's going to happen. They're going to call this Lenin-esque takeover Obama. He's their man. They plan on making him a full dictator. There's no doubt now. They plan on making him the new Lenin. That'll be what he's called privately. They're going to call him Abraham Lincoln. And I knew this was coming because of the buildup and all the other points whenever they were advertising him as the new Lincoln and all these movies and TV shows. And I said, they're going to say that he's going to crush the states and the right-wingers. And now that's in Daily Costs and others. They go, you bet he's Lincoln. We're coming for your guns. Get ready. And they're talking about federal militias that are going to round us up. You see, they want our guns because they fantasize, like Piers Morgan agreed. He said, I'm going to get in a uniform and I'm going to blow Alex Jones's brains out. And the media is like, you bet, kill Alex Jones. Oh, but there was nobody outside harassing me. No. They just said they want to kill me on TV and talked about my kids. Hope they don't get killed. And I'm not even, listen, I'm not worried about myself or even my family because they have no future if we don't beat them. You know, my flesh says just leave the country. I've warned you. I've done my part. I've been on the front line. Bye. I'm out of here. I'll broadcast from Switzerland or some other place. Not that they're perfect, but get out of here. I'm not doing that. I'm staying. I'm going all the way up against these people, and I pray that God reprieve us. But you know what? The white Russians weren't aborting 50-plus million babies. The Russians were pretty moral people, folks, about as moral as you could get, culturally. They went to church like 15 hours on Sundays and 2 hours a night every other night of the week and everything else. I mean, hard-working people. And they were turned over by our filthy government and foreign banks to be murdered and butchered. And now they want to do that here to us. And it's just so horrible. It's so horrible they're going to do this. They're going to call us terrorists, and they're going to set up a Soviet takeover of America. The Red Terror is going to come to America. That's what Homeland Security is the Red Terror Force. Mike and Mass, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, Alex, I got an article for you to pull up. It's titled Linsky, Linsky, Linsky taking new slant on gun control. Here in Massachusetts, the state rep, David Paul Linsky, he wants to introduce legislation that calls for liability insurance for gun owners, storage of assault weapons at only gun clubs. You can't have them in your home.
No, that's the plan. It's British style. That's what the commission's going to say. Biden's already saying it. Everyone must re-register, quote, as a new background check. You can't give your son a gun. Any guns given to you by anybody else will be retroactively illegal, and they're going to make you go get, quote, insurance on them. Yes, that's the plan.
Yeah, and you know what? I just got off the phone with the staffer for the state rep, and she confirmed it's not, the bill isn't written up yet, but they're working it out. But she confirmed that they want insurance, they want storage of assault weapons in gun clubs, and they want full mental disclosure that you have to sign a waiver before you apply for your license so that the issuing officer can get any mental health screening. And, that just reminds me of Brandon Robb. They're just going to, it's a total gun purge, you know?
No, listen, they're coming. I mean, what did I say 2 months ago? Drums in the deep, they are coming. I mean, boom, 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 boom. I could hear the drums. I could see all the signs. Now they're at the door. I mean, we're now here, okay? And they're not just going to shoot up schools. They're going to blow stuff up and blame it on us. I mean, folks, this is it. And listen, a lot of you are just going to go along with it and listen to Glenn Beck and sit there and go, we're just going to talk, and be nice and not say the government's bad. They're going to take everything. This is a Soviet 1970 takeover. I've studied their battle plan. It is a Soviet takeover. The Rothschild Rockefeller banks wrote the Russian takeover plan. This is their plan refined. Look at the plan in Libya. Look at the plan in Syria. Look at the plan in Iraq. They're doing it here. They went to all... I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to give out the phone number for people to call in on this guy.
Well, listen, I believe you and your voice sounds good, but I've always got to check numbers before we give them out on air because people can call in with a wrong number to some old lady and then we're in deep trouble. Email me the number. We'll look at doing that. We're trying. And again, by the end of the show, I've got this chest cold or whatever it is, so it's hard for me not to have hacking attacks if I'm not as eloquent as I normally am. The Russians and the previously Russian-run, government-run Pravda is saying, do not turn your guns in. They're planning a red terror that your own bank's financed. We've seen this before. Don't turn them in. And by the way, they're going to tell the police and military to turn their guns in. That's in the 7277 State Department plan. After our guns are taken, yours are taken.
Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the global elite are now storing non-hybrid seeds in secret storage vaults near the Arctic Circle? Did you know that in a real meltdown, non-hybrid seeds can become more valuable than silver or gold? It's true, seeds have outperformed even gold and silver before in this country, and it's possible that could even happen again. So our friends at Solutions from Science have put together the perfect mix of non-hybrid seeds. They call it a survival seed bank, and it can produce an endless supply of nutrient-dense food for you and your family. And here's the best part. These seeds have not been genetically modified in any way, and you actually get enough seeds to plant a full-acre crisis garden. So visit them today at survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com, or give them a call at 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365. Remember, in a real crisis, non-hybrid seeds are the ultimate barter item. This is Alex Jones for survivalseedbank.com.
Hello, this is Ty Bollinger, author of the best-selling book, Cancer, Step Outside the Box. I want you to know some very important information. In 1985, President Ronald Reagan requested that Carnivora be sent directly to the White House at a time when only the president could obtain this world-class healer. Now, 27 years later, Carnivora capsules are used around the world to keep people healthy. Now you can protect yourself and your loved ones in this age of superbugs with 17 naturally occurring compounds that instinctively respond to abnormal cells only without harming a single normal cell. If you want to stay healthy, now's your chance to literally wake up your critical immune cells to attack harmful invaders that don't belong in your body. Call 1-866-VENUS-FLY or order from carnivora.com. That's carnivora.com. That's 1-866-836-8735, 1-866-VENUS-FLY, or visit carnivora.com. Protect your immune system. It's the only one you've got.
Don't throw away leftovers. Instead, throw all your leftovers, vegetable peels, eggshells, coffee grounds, pizza crusts, and more into the bokashi. If you love to garden and compost but don't like the hassle of turning a compost bin or the smell, then check out the EM Bokashi Food Waste Recycling System from Terraganics. Finally, a way to recycle all your food and plant waste safely and effectively and stop using fertilizers. The EM Bokashi Food Waste Recycling System. Rather than decomposition, the Bokashi system uses fermentation to break down waste, so it takes less time to create nutrient-dense humus for crops or gardens with no turning and no obnoxious odors. To learn more and order your Bokashi online, visit Terraganics.com and click on the orange button. That's Terraganics.com, spelled Terraganix.com, or call 866-369-3678. That's 866-369-3678. Recycle all your food wastes in about 6 weeks with the Bokashi Food Waste Recycling System from Terraganics.com. Terraganics. Life's getting better.
By the way, you know, what you just heard me break down, I need to do more eloquently in some special reports, but you've heard me say this many times. It's a Soviet-style 1917 Red Terror takeover. And sure, the Soviet Union didn't come till later. You know, technically it's just a Reds takeover. Red Terror would be the proper term. And again, you're saying, well, are they communists? What are they? It's mega banks. It's the same very banks that did this, that always wanted to take down Russia because it wasn't controlled by their system. And then Russia kind of got away from them for a while under Stalin. He double-crossed them. And then Gorbachev was a globalist agent. And then now they're trying to merge the EU with Russia. It's just a horrible situation all around. Let's take some more calls. I appreciate you holding. Let's talk to Heretic from Washington, and we'll go to Chris and others. We'll do some overdrive. Go ahead, Heretic. Okay, he's gone. Let's talk to Chris in Oklahoma. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. How's it going?
Good, buddy.
I just wanted to call in and give people kind of a mindset into somebody who has actually confiscated weapons. I was with the 45th Infantry Brigade in Delta Company 1st, the 279 during Hurricane Katrina. We were really the first boots on the ground, and keep in mind we were an infantry brigade, and we were called there for security. Saving lives would have been nice or whatever, but that's just not what we do. And when we come up to your house, it's just a hell of a scene. It's just like something out of a movie. It's 5 trucks. Everyone departs. They stack right on the outside of the frame of the door, and then they come through. Well, every now and then we would knock and yell, you know, does anyone need any assistance? But that's as I'm booting in the door.
Well, that's the psych warfare thing. We're here to assist you. I mean, that's all. Like, this is not an attack. And this happened on record. Again, this is the training. This is the test. And I think you called a few years ago and told the whole story, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a couple months ago. I called in, and I was talking to Rob, or the health ranger it was.
Okay, so finish your story. I mean, describe to people, yeah. And then ABC News said if someone resisted, you killed them.
Yes, sir. Well, see, what happened is, you know, I was called up in the middle of the night, and literally at 2 a.m., I reported to the unit at 4 a.m. We were told immediately that there's news reports and reports on the ground that people are firing at rescue helicopters. The city has descended into total chaos, and we're going to come in there and put our boot up some butt.
Yeah, exactly. Notice the cover story with you. It's a psyop. Not we're going to go find who's shooting in helicopters later made up. We're just going to go take everybody's guns at their houses.
Yeah, we're going to secure the city at any and all costs. We'll meet aggression with aggression, and you know that's how it was to be.
It'll be like this: right-wing terrorists just nuked a major city. All of them are to be killed on sight. They don't turn the guns in. We're going to round up the troublemakers as well. You're the weather, so you're dead. Hail Obama, King of Earth. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. They use that whole situation. I figured this out later. I'm not in the military anymore, and this plagues me every day that I went around and actually did this. It didn't occur to me till later what I was doing. I know it sounds like an ignorant cop out, but
No. You just walk up and suddenly you're being groped by TSA. You just walk up one day and they say, take your shoes off. You walk up one day and they say, go get in the ditch, and they shoot you in the back of the head. But I mean, look, they are planning this, and then they're going to call gun owners terrorists. And then I hope people understand they plan a red-style takeover. If people submit to this, it's over.
If you could imagine with this, You know, it could have, you know, the geoengineering and things that go on, whatever you could say about Katrina. It happened, and it's just that emergency situation where everybody's hyped up. You know, my whole unit is on fire to do this mission, and me as a young soldier who had some disciplinary problems, I'm eager to prove myself. You know what I mean? I'm eager to show that I'm combat ready and I'm ready to go. You know, I wasn't there to excitedly.
Well, I mean, I think we should all just turn our guns into Obama and have 100% tax and all live in forced collectives like Mao did. And I think 80 million of us should be killed by Mao. And I think Mao is God. There, now I can be on Piers Morgan and I can be popular. We have a guy claiming he was a Piers Morgan audience member. Stay with us.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Looking back on 2012, we ask ourselves, how did we ever survive? From natural disasters like Hurricane Sandy and the devastating summer drought to the family hardships brought on by a disastrous economy. Our hearts go out to those that have lost everything. At eFoods Direct, we hear from customers every day that are fortunate enough to weather life's storm by having a supply of food on hand. After Hurricane Sandy, Danny from New York City wrote, almost all of the grocery stores are closed, but I managed to get my eFoods just in time to be able to help my sister and niece. It is better to be prepared 10 years too early than one day too late. I can warn you, but I can't feed you. Heed the warnings and do what Alex has done. Call 800-409-5633 today or go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex and build your food supply. It's the best tasting, non-GMO, long-term storable food on the planet. Call 800-409-5633 or efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can bet your life on eFoods Direct.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
All right, folks, we're now into overdrive here. We've got a fellow who says he was a previous audience member. They didn't have a studio audience when I was there, but they do sometimes. Derek in New Jersey. That was a scary last phone call. Then we got James. We'll try to cram in. But real fast, Derek, what's your story?
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, I was an audience member back in September when Jesse Ventura was the guest. I was actually one of the audience members. I got to ask him a question. I was the first audience member. Excuse me, I'm a little nervous. But so my experience on that show was that they filled the audience. You can't really see it from the angles that they shot it at, but they filled the audience with people, interns, people from other floors. I mean, they were pulling people out of the street. They couldn't fill the entire audience, all the seats. There were a bunch of empty seats. And the guy next to me who asked the second question about the Navy SEAL book, they pulled him off the street, I swear this happened, they pulled him off the street because we were talking to him, my brother and I. My brother even pointed it out to one of the producer people who comes over. He said, oh, you're pulling people off the street. She gave him a snide remark. And the guy, they said, here's your question. They handed him the card. They said, they went through it. They practiced it. I was right next to the guy. And they said, here you go. Here's what you're going to ask him. And he asked him the question. They didn't even get to the other audience members that were picked to ask questions. There's about
Sir, they had people on a rooftop in Atlanta with a green screen saying they were under nerve gas attack. I mean, it's CIA, and they're not even. Did you notice that how the place looked shabby and was rotting?
It was disgusting. I actually used that bathroom. I couldn't believe it.
Wow. So you saw the poop on the walls?
It was terrible. Before the show went, they said if anyone needs to use the bathroom, come with us. My brother went too. It was I couldn't believe it.
You sound credible. We can go to the last Ventura interview and see if it matches your voice, and people will do that later when this goes online. Describe the layout of the Piers Morgan set when you come in out of the hallway. How was it laid out?
Well, the way they had it set up there was kind of like a round table, so everyone was sitting in the middle.
No. Before you go in the studio, what's right outside the door they brought you in?
Yeah, it was like cruddy white walls. The ceiling was caved in. It was terrible lighting. It looked like you were in. It looked like they bring the trash through there every day. But
I know, but what was the layout? What was the layout of the green room, and then the what was beside it?
Well, I just went to the restroom that was through the doors, and then I didn't quite go past through the green rooms. It
was white walls. By the way, that's not the common restroom. I'm talking about the green room restroom was dirty, too. All right, I appreciate your call, sir. Good to hear from you. Let's talk to James in Minnesota with vital info, an XM listener. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, this is James. Thank you so much for taking my call. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I just want to say that I do hereby solemnly swear and affirm that I am prepared to die for the Republic. I am prepared to die for liberty. I'm a U.S. infantry Army soldier. I am prepared to die in the defense of this Republic, and I stand on that.
What do you think about the Russians saying, don't turn in your guns like our military did? You know, under the State Department memorandum, after they get our guns, they have the general army stand down and turn their guns in.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what they've done in every communist revolution. There's always a purge of the military. After they're done being useful idiots, after they're done using us to enact their agenda, they murder us. And I'm telling you right now, everyone listening to this, everyone who can hear my voice right now, you are in the military. If you do not stand against this, you will die. They will murder you. You are their enemy. They hate you. Now, look, I have a message of tragedy and hope. I have seen the enemy. I have looked into his eyes, and I know who he is, but I know how to defeat him, and I'm going to share that with you right now. Are you prepared?
Go.
All right. Last night, I spoke to a Tier 1 Special Operations officer. He looked me square in the eyes.
I want to hear this. We're going into extra overdrive. This is too important. We'll go to more calls as well. Don't hang up. Don't hang up, James. Folks, I've studied history. I know this attack pattern. That's why I keep telling you what's coming next. I just got chills. This is a red Soviet-style takeover by megabanks, not the Russians. Hello, I'm Alex Jones. Myself, my family, the Infowars.com team want to relay to you and your families that we are intensifying our efforts against the globalist on every front. Infowars.com is leading the fight against the technocrats. But we can't do that without your help. By getting the films, bumper stickers, and T-shirts at Infowars.com, you will wake up people in your area and support our operation as we move to the next level. We need your help to spread the word like never before. They wish to hide themselves during this tectonic battle between the forces of freedom and darkness. You are the response to the globalist technocrats and their program of global eugenics, dehumanization, and ultimate extermination. The war is here. It's an info war. The spirit of 1776 versus the mindset of 1984.
Preparedness is simple when you have the right stuff. And with the looming threat of economic collapse and possible service interruption, it's time to get the best-in-class preparedness stuff at disasterstuff.com. Disasterstuff.com has been serving smart preppers for over 15 years with quality products like Berkey water filters. Disasterstuff.com is the official Berkey in-stock shipping center. And as always, free shipping on all Berkey products. Stock up on water barrels and accessories. Get Country Living or Wonder Mill grain mills, Excalibur food dehydrators, Tatler reusable canning lids, Sun oven solar cookers, EMP bags to protect sensitive electronics. And don't be without your Life Straw personal water filter, all from disasterstuff.com. Preparedness is simple with the right stuff from disasterstuff.com. Freedom through self-reliance and personal responsibility.
Fight back this cold and flu season with the world's best garlic extract, Ali C. Why Ali C? Because it helps your body fight viruses, bacteria, and fungi. Ali C has been scientifically proven in double-blind studies using low doses to greatly reduce the number, severity, and duration of common colds. Ali C contains 300 milligrams of stabilized allicin, the active ingredient in crushed garlic. Studies show Ali C is effective against MRSA, bacterial, fungal, and viral infections. One tablet of Ali C has the equivalent of 40 cloves of garlic. Ali C supports your body's resistance to all types of conditions and can help lower high blood pressure and high cholesterol. So boost your body's resistance to infection with nature's best garlic extract, Ali C. For more information and to order Ali C, call 877-888-7126 or go to garlichealthproducts.com. That's 1-877-888-7126 or go to garlichealthproducts.com for your Ali C today.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
So they announced yesterday they were going to use executive orders to ban semi-autos and other things. And because there was a huge backlash, they came out today. I saw it on MSNBC and CNN, both globalist channels, collaborator channels, saying nobody's going to take your guns through executive orders. The executive order only activates interpretations of existing laws. So the new thing is, yes, a dictator would use executive orders to take guns. Our executive orders only interpret laws that already exist. That's what we've said. They could use some street sweeper legislation to expand it to all semi-autos and then claim under rulemaking you got to turn them in. That's what Larry Pratt said a month ago on the show. They can also harass with rulemaking the gun shops and make it impossible. And make them, well, under ATF rules, you got to have $50 million in insurance. In fact, they said they're going to target manufacturers with rules. So, and again, they're just getting you ready where they have the moral high ground, where every time there's a mass shooting that they advertise and hype up with copycats, that it's your fault. You collectively have the guilt. You did it. Like he told Larry Pratt yesterday, he said, don't you feel anything for what's happened? Don't you feel any empathy like he's done it? And I would have said, I wouldn't have been so mad. Of course, he didn't bring that up to me because I knew he'd say something like that. I planned to say, you mean you're the ones that made them victim disarmament zones and advertised it's the place to go kill people? I did get that part out. You're the ones. You're the ones using 20 dead, which is terrible, but statistically very low probability. Why don't you use all the other horrible stories out there? Because you've got an agenda. Now, I want to shut up and go back to your calls. James in Minnesota says he's an Army infantryman. And he wanted to get into talking to some people last night in the military and what he was hearing. He's listening on XM. James, go ahead.
Hey, Alex, thanks for going back to me. Hey, look,
you bet. Recap what you said. Recap what you said, and then cover it.
All right. Last night I was speaking to a friend of mine. This guy is Tier 1, Alex. This is U.S. Army Special Operations. This guy's been in. He's seen it from every angle. And I just asked him straight up. I said, hey, if it comes to it, are you seriously willing to look me in the eye and kill me? And he said this to me. He right to my face and the face of my wife. He said, yes, I would come to your house, I would kick in your door, and I would kill you to take your gun. And the moment he said that to me, God just revealed this to me in a glorious flash of light. This is how we are going to defeat these people, Alex. We're going to call their bluff. We're going to turn their threats back on them. I had this idea for a campaign. We're going to call it We Are the Dead. We're going to have a massive Facebook campaign. We're going to get people who are willing to stand with the Republic, who are willing to stand with democracy. We're going to get them to delete their Facebook pages en masse. If they want to treat us like unpersons, if they want to dehumanize us, we're going to pull out from their system. We're going to reject them. I want to get a massive advertising campaign going. I want T-shirts. I want bumper stickers. We are the dead. We are the 1.5 million. If 1% resisted, 1.5 million who would die if these laws are enacted. We're going to call their bluff. And I want 1.5 million patriots to march on Washington, D.C. en masse. And we're going to stand there in a silent protest. And at the stroke of 12, we're all going to light candles. And we're going to blow them out one by one. And we're just going to stand there.
Well, that's powerful. You should shoot a YouTube video describing your idea. No, I mean, that's what I've done on air is I've said, okay, I'm not going along with this. And that's why I got in Morgan's face is because I've had to go across that line. I'm public. They've now made me the poster boy to take down. When they blow up stuff, you better believe they're going to blame me. And they're going to try to get all the other cowards out there who are libertarians or whatever to then come criticize me. And when they do that, they're Benedict Arnolds. Okay, our forebears went through this. You know, don't be so angry at the New World Order. Don't get in their face. Don't, go along. Don't say, that's what this is coming down to. And Yeah, and listen, I've had the calls. I've talked to a lot of military folks where they said their commanders are like, yes, we will kill Americans if they don't turn their guns in. So now it's gone from it'll never happen to we're going to kill the Americans. I mean, it's total treason. And oh, by the way, it won't be sob stories for us that are dead. And I just want the military and police to know, once this starts, I mean, they just have no idea. And usually, militaries throughout history usually do this, and then they're called out as well. I mean, I don't know what it would be like if this guy looked at you and said, I'll come kill your family. I mean, you know, he's been psychologically profiled and chosen for this. So, I mean, I guess there's no order he wouldn't follow. Just anything, he'll do it.
And, Alex, this is why we have to call their bluff. Look, I'm telling you, man.
Well, what did you say to him when he said this?
I just said, well, you know what? If a faceless corporate fascist regime means more to you than the lives of human beings, then the Lord bless you and keep you. That's all I could say to him. That's honestly all I could say to him. Because
yeah, these guys think being evil is manly, and it's the opposite.
I mean, Alex, look, I'm telling you, we're not the best, but we're all that's left. I want to work for you, man. I want to come to Austin. I want to make this a reality. I want 1.5.
Well, here's the issue. If you tried to have people march on Washington, they put provocateurs in, it would never even. The point is, we need 1 million marches in every town and city every day with banner hangs and people doing YouTube videos and other ideas and people saying, I'm not turning my guns in. This is about despotism. And, you know, Drudge putting up the fact that Hitler wanted the guns and Stalin wanted the guns. We need to call them what they are, authoritarians using dead kids for their agenda. I appreciate your call. I mean, I think most of the military I talk to aren't going to go along with this, but the ones that they're going to put in command are. And I've analyzed it. It is a vicious takeover plan. And a lot of people say, man, you're scary. Well, I guess you're just cowards then. Because, you know, I'm telling you what I really think it is so we can face it. And I mean, my instinct, my gut, my intellect, everything points towards resist this, get back in its face, or it wins. My fear is letting them take over. So I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to warn people. And as radical as this show sounds, we're getting new affiliates. In fact, here's a couple of them every week. KHNC 1360 AM, The Lion, Fort Collins, Colorado, 10,000 Water. And that's one we're featuring. That's been an affiliate. And WJNL 1210 AM, Traverse City, Michigan, 50,000 watts, thanks to PD and GM and the great stations. And I think those are two stations we already had. So this is a station in focus. This is not the new affiliates. That list is somewhere else. But I need to have the affiliates in focus thing once a week as well. But it's all very, very exciting. They just came in and said, hey, here's some new affiliates. And that's actually the new stations in focus deal. But we have gained several new affiliates this week as well. The point is the broadcast is steadily growing here. Let's talk to Chris in California. Wants to talk. He's listening on XM. Chris, what's your take on all this?
Hey, man, I think that this is all something that you predicted from the beginning. I'm a one-year listener, first-time caller, and that piece of garbage, Glenn Beck, is always preaching about doing your homework and doing your research. And last night I did my research and went on YouTube. Man, you've been talking about this since July 25th, 2001. I mean, you called 9/11 on the spot. You know, we got. I appreciate everything you're doing, Alex, and I'm getting my mother, my brothers, my friends, everybody's getting into this show. I'm trying to get them on InfoWars. This is all. You know, I'm ready, man. I never thought anything like this could be possible in my lifetime. I was hoping it wouldn't, but...
Well, no, I mean, it's a foreign banking takeover to label all gun owners as terrorists, and then the gun grabbers is sweet people that love children, and they're sending men in black uniforms to get our guns. It's their excuse to start a civil war so they can then, like the Reds, take over. I mean, that's their plan.
And listen, I just really quick, I think that it's going to be quite as simple. I don't think... Obama knows that he can't take our guns yet, but this is all a setup. And I think what Biden was saying yesterday, I think the setup is they're just going to make it more difficult for people like you and I to carry our guns around. You know, no gun zones. And when that happens, that's when they're going to be able to confiscate the guns because all of these loonies are going to start shooting people and blowing people up and blaming it on people like us who, you know, just wanted to. they're going to make it more difficult for us to defend ourselves.
Well, God bless you. Let's go to Eric in Canada real quick. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, first-time caller. I've been following you since 2004, and you're awesome. I got to tell you, since all of this stuff has been going on, and after watching what happened on Pierce Morgan the other night, me and my wife are going out to start buying guns. And I don't know if you know what Canada's about, but we don't have a very big gun population up here. But as much as this stuff is going on stateside, this stuff is going on Canada side too. The Idle No More movement, which is being held by the natives, so on and so forth. You know, Alex, I got to tell you, my friend, you know, we will stand there. We will stand in front of you. We will not allow these guys to take you down. And from your brothers from the north, I swear to God, we're here for you guys.
Well, that touches my heart. And again, I'm certainly an imperfect vessel to be right up at the tip of the spear. We're all up there together. I'm trying my best. Thank you for the support. They're going to demonize us. They're going to use all of this weird cultural revolution, emotion stuff. They're going to say, we killed the children. We blew up the federal buildings. We nuked the city. We assassinate, I've told you, everybody, they're going to do horrible things and then say it's our fault. And they've said gun owners are Nazis, gun owners are Klan, gun owners, we collectively killed those kids. No, you did. You're a bunch of scum trying to scapegoat us and disarm us because they can't have us armed when they fully implode the economy. So they're racing to get our guns. God bless you, sir, and I appreciate you from Canada. All right. Well, I tell you, we've got WMQM listeners in Tennessee. We've got all sorts of folks calling in, but I'm going to go into retransmission now because I've already gone 20 minutes into overdrive. And again, I'm under the weather, so it's hard for me to talk with this chest cold that I thought was just allergies. So I'm going to go work on some things for the nightly news coming up tonight, 7 o'clock. Infowars.com, prisonplanet.com, a lot of key info. The Dean, the Doug Hagmann interview is coming up with the Homeland Security confirming source that they are stalking me. And again, they do this to make me sound crazy when I talk about it, and then to also try to intimidate me. Because they know the general public just does not understand. The stuff you see in movies, so much stuff I've seen in movies, that's based on real stuff that goes on. So please pray for us. All right, that's the Doug Hagmann thing's coming up. Stay with us.
Hello, I'm Alex Jones. Myself, my family, the Infowars.com team want to relay to you and your family
in the devastating summer drought to the family hardships brought on by a disastrous economy. Our hearts go out to those that have lost everything. At